From all of us at Dunkin' to all the heroes keeping everyone running, we thank you.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yes! Oh, it is. It is. Man of the Match with Alex Donno. Oh, I'm Alex Donno, and I'm with you guys here live on OnSideRadio.com, taking you up until 6 o'clock tonight. Got our guy Alex Aguirre in studio, making everything happen. I am broadcasting remotely today. Just had a little childcare challenge today, so I'm not in the stadium, but I'm really happy to be able to broadcast with you guys live, as we always do. Haven't missed a day in quite some time. Well, I think about 3 months ago or so I had a vacation, but we've been batting 1,000 since then, my friends. So we're taking you up until 6 o'clock tonight. Plenty of stuff to get into, from the triumphant Florida Panthers to the Miami Heat that will hopefully be triumphant about 7.5 hours from now, because I believe that they're going to have to win this game tonight to stay out of the play-in. I know that they are, a couple games up on Boston right now regardless, but if they lose to Boston tonight, you lose the tiebreaker against Boston. You've got a tougher schedule to close out the season than they do. If you finish with the same record as the Celtics, then the Celtics would be the 6 and you would be the 7 by virtue of that aforementioned tiebreaker. So I think the Heat really, really need another W in Boston tonight to make sure that they can lock up the 6 and avoid the dreaded play-in series. So we'll talk plenty of Miami Heat today. We'll talk some Miami Dolphins and some Miami Hurricanes. We've got a perfect guest joining us to cover all of those things. 3:35 p.m., we're going to talk with our good pal Jakari Givens from the 5 Reasons Sports Network, from the Sixth Ring Show. He's going to join us to talk some Dolphins and Canes here in the 3 o'clock hour. In the 4 o'clock hour, going to talk to another excellent professional boxer, Xavier Martinez, who's fighting on the Showtime card this Saturday, May 15th. And I'm really looking forward to talking to Xavier because he had a short notice opponent change. He's preparing for one guy, and then 2 weeks before the fight, the rug gets pulled from under him. Now he's preparing for a different opponent. So that always provides an interesting angle to discuss. You tend to see that happen a lot more in mixed martial arts than you do in boxing, because training injuries are more common in MMA because you're training so many freaking different disciplines that it's easier to pick up random injuries. You see it, though, happen from time to time in boxing as well. I'm glad he still gets to fight on the card. The fight wasn't pulled, and I think Xavier Martinez is going to win, but it's always challenging to have to prepare for a different opponent on short notice. So we're going to talk to him at 4 o'clock today. 4:35 today, we are going to talk some Florida Panthers with George Richards from FloridaHockeyNow.com. I'm so thrilled with the Panthers. We'll get to them in a second. I'm really thrilled, though, at the announcement that was made this morning by Inter Miami. Now, I'm not sitting in the stadium like I usually am, but I'm imagining a beautiful day in Fort Lauderdale. I know those pink, black, gray, and white seats are calling my name, and they're calling everyone's name today. Well, 18,000 plus people, they're calling the name. I mean, Alex Aguirre, you're back there in studio. Is Drive Pink Stadium looking as glorious as it looks every single day?
Glorious, and shining down upon us is a beautiful sunlight that hopefully it's going to be here, for future games in Miami. I know tomorrow's game is a night game, which is going to be really cool as well. Not as hot, but still, though, we've been very blessed that last home game, it was raining during the morning, and then once the afternoon came and it was kickoff on the pitch, it was a beautiful day. It was sunshine. It was hot, a little humid, but that's expected in South Florida. At least it wasn't that bad. And like any other day here in Drive Pink Stadium, it's really nice out here. The seats are clean. The stadium looks beautiful. The skyline's in the background. It's another great day here at Drive Pink Stadium.
I love to hear it. And yeah, like Alex mentioned, we do have the game there tomorrow night, Inter Miami against CF Montreal. Now, that game tomorrow night, still going to be limited capacity. Going to have 8,000 of our closest friends. I know the supporters are going to be rocking and rolling. They're going to be crazy like always. They're going to be in the stadium, 8,000. But we got the announcement this morning from Inter Miami. Just a huge grin on my face. Well, because I'm on a couple of different email lists for the team. I'm on the media emailing list, and I'm on the email list just as a fan. Because guess what? Before I had any affiliation with the club, I do the pregame, halftime, and postgame shows. Before I had any affiliation with the club, I signed up for the email list as a fan, like, I don't know, a year and a half ago or whatever it was. So I get announcements as a fan. I get announcements as a member of the media. And I came to find out this morning that beginning on May 29th, which will be a home game against DC United, we can operate at full capacity. That the entire stadium, baby, we're moving in lock, stock, and barrel to Drive Pink Stadium. The entire stadium is going to be open, packed to the brim, 18,000 strong from May 29th on. Hallelujah. And of course, this is made possible by the acceleration of the vaccines. Most of us, at least those of us who, actually wanted to get it, the people who didn't is a whole nother story. But those who wanted the vaccine are probably vaccinated by now, or they're getting vaccinated, and we're finally starting to put this pandemic behind us, and we're able to actually get together and masks will be on. Yes, like it's not 1,000% back to the way it was 2 years ago. Like we're going to be wearing masks and stuff, everyone in the stadium, but we're actually able to pack up the stadium into my, I keep wanting to say the old stadium name, Drive Pink Stadium, my friends. DRVPNK Stadium will be open, operating at full capacity May 29th. When I first saw the announcement this morning, my initial reaction was, May 29th, that's still like a little ways away, like a couple months away. Then I look at the calendar and I realize, idiot, that's like less than 3 weeks away, 18 days away. Time is flying, man. It still feels like April, but no, here we are mid-March and late March. Drive Pink Stadium is going to be open, and you realize the significance of this, my friends. In the history of this Inter Miami franchise, they've never been able to host a game at full capacity before. I mean, think about it. They launched last year. The first 2 games of the season were played on the road before the season was stalled due to lockdown and pandemic. And then, once the season opened up again, most of the home games had 0 people in attendance. Then the last 2 home games of the year, one against Orlando and one against Cincinnati, were allowed very limited capacity. I think it was like 2,000, 2,500 people, something like that. Then this year, we've had 8,000 people at the first 2 home games. So for the first time in Inter Miami CF franchise history, we're actually going to be able to welcome in a full Drive Pink Stadium. Sometimes I just take a step back and I think about things from a historical perspective. I'm a longtime soccer fan, and, before Inter Miami came around, of course, the teams that I support, I love Inter Milano, which is a pure coincidence. I don't just go, looking for Inters in various leagues. It's pure coincidence that I support Inter Milan and now I support Inter Miami, but I've been supporting Inter Milan my entire life. And that franchise was founded in 1908. So it's been around for well over a century, right? I also support the Italian national team, which has been around for, well over a century. The U.S. men's national team, which has been around for several decades, I would imagine. And in the case of Inter Miami, everyone who supports this club and everyone who attends games, we are all now becoming part of this team's franchise history because it's being written before our very eyes. I mean, all the other, and I can say the same thing, I guess, about the Florida Panthers because I'm a day one fan of theirs from 1993. The Florida Marlins, the Miami Marlins, they were the Florida Marlins. Same thing. The Miami Heat were launched when I was a little kid. I was like 4 years old when the Miami Heat franchise was born. So, yeah, I guess you can say my fandom is part of the history of those various teams. But for my other soccer teams, no, they were around a long time before I was. The Miami Dolphins, the Miami Hurricanes have been around long before I was born. But in the case of Inter Miami, I am one of the first pregame, halftime, and postgame hosts in the history of that franchise, and that's a huge honor for me and everyone who goes to games. Like for those of you who already have your tickets and you're planning to attend the DC United game on May 29th, pat yourself on the back because you are going to be part of the franchise's history as some of the first fans to be in the first full capacity game at Drive Pink Stadium. Those of you who came to the Orlando City game last year that was open to a very limited number of season ticket holders, pat yourself on the back. You were part of history. You were at the first Inter Miami CF game open to anyone from the public. I think it's really, really cool that we get to see the history of this franchise written before our very eyes. I can remember the first victory the team ever picked up last year against Orlando. I can remember, winning the Cincinnati game to ensure a playoff spot. And so I just think it's really, really neat that with Inter Miami CF, like any significant thing that happens, last year and this season, we are watching history get written before our very eyes. And I absolutely love that. I love what the Florida Panthers are doing on the ice. They trounced the Tampa Bay Lightning again yesterday 4-0. And what's really significant about that is, my friends, the Panthers lock up the 2 seed and home ice advantage against this very same Tampa Bay Lightning team. I kind of look at this, these past 2 games, because you played and beat Tampa on Saturday 5-1. You played and beat Tampa yesterday 4-0. And now you face them in a 7-game series. This is, to me, like a 9-game series against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the Florida Panthers are now in great position because you get the first 2 games at home and you get game 7 at home if the series gets that far. And God, the goaltending is peaking at the right time. We're going to talk, as I mentioned, with George Richards from Florida Hockey Now at about 4:35 today. Now, I'm assuming that Bob, being the $10 million man, that's the guy the Panthers are going to trot out there for game 1 of that series, which is going to be either on Saturday or Sunday. But you've got a pretty damn good option B, right? If you do have to turn to Chris Driedger, you could do a lot worse, because Chris Driedger was a big, beautiful wall yesterday, earning that shutout against Tampa Bay. And the opposite can be said about Tampa Bay netminder Andrei Vasilevskiy. Now, I take a lot of confidence in this as a Florida Panthers fan. Andrei Vasilevskiy is one of the best on the planet in stopping shots. The Florida Panthers have this dude's number. Vasilevskiy this season, he gave up 4 goals against the Panthers last night, 5 goals the other night against the Panthers. He's now 2-4-0 against the Panthers this season. That's 2 wins, 4 losses, 0 overtime losses. So 4 regulation losses, 2 wins, 4 regulation losses against the Panthers this year. There's just something about the Panthers going up against Andrei Vasilevskiy where we've had his number. And it's happened enough times this season that I don't think this is some kind of a coincidence. I don't think this is some kind of a statistical aberration. There's something about the Florida Panthers shooters going up against Andrei Vasilevskiy. And I don't know, it might just come down to the speed with which the Panthers move the puck, some of the angles that they shoot from. I'm certainly going to ask George Richards from Florida Hockey Now if he sees like any sort of specific reason why the Panthers have been the boogeyman against Vasilevskiy. And then on the other side of it, I mentioned Sergei Bobrovsky. Listen, Donno, I'm going to get in that net. I'm going to stop a lot of shots. This is not like Soviet Russia anymore. I don't need to spend 14 hours in line for cigarette. I get right behind goal. I stop a lot of shots. That's what I do. So Sergei Bobrovsky, I know that he certainly had his ups and downs with the Panthers in 2 seasons. Last year, he was bad, okay? This year, it's been a bit of a roller coaster with Bob. But Bob has been finding his form. Bob has been pretty good lately. And Bob, I hope that there's some historical precedent here that we can actually say will carry over into this playoff series, because this is the same Sergei Bobrovsky that 2 years ago in Columbus with the 8 seed sweeping the 1 humiliated Tampa Bay. That's the same Sergei Bobrovsky. So I can look at Andrei Vasilevskiy and say that there's, some sort of a weird boogeyman thing that the Panthers have going up against him. I can say the opposite about Bob. He is the boogeyman to the Tampa Bay Lightning, that Sergei Bobrovsky gives those skaters nightmares. And so, yeah, I'm hoping that, it's weird because I strangely feel kind of good about this matchup. I don't know if I'm quite there with Big O, where he said he's happier to play Tampa than he would be with Carolina. I know Carolina's the 1 seed. They had the better season than Tampa Bay, And Carolina was a lot better against the Panthers than Tampa Bay were. So I can understand his argument. He says that he's actually happy that the Panthers are facing the Lightning and not Carolina. I can go either way on that one, because my thing is Tampa Bay, this is the proven championship pedigree team, whereas Carolina they've been good for the last couple of years. They've gotten better, but they still haven't actually proven it in the playoffs, where if there's one of those two teams where I can say, hey, one of these squads between the Lightning and Hurricanes are capable of flipping a switch and turning it on in the postseason, I've got to think that's Tampa Bay, because they've done it before. These guys know what it's like to win a championship. Carolina doesn't. So that's the one thing that concerns me. But it is worth saying that that the Panthers have had far more regular season success against Tampa. They've been great against Tampa, and Carolina has owned the Panthers. And I want to get into the roundtable question for today. By the way, we have Terrible Take Tuesday coming up in a few minutes. That's going to be awesome. I've got some real howlers today from Terrible Takes. So the roundtable question for today, all of our hosts answer this question, and Alex Aguirre is going to cut it up and turn it into just a master segment on the podcast later tonight. Who do you have more faith in to make a deep playoff run, and why? The Florida Panthers or the Miami Heat? We had a very similar roundtable question about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. I'll be honest, my answer has changed. I answered it a different way last time than I'm going to answer it today. During that moment, when we had a similar question a couple months ago, the Miami Heat were in a nice run of form, and I wasn't sure at the time how the Panthers would look long-term without Aaron Ekblad. The Panthers were less proven in general at that time. Like they've had so many convincing performances against good teams since then. In fact, the Panthers have just wrapped up the regular season on a 6-game winning streak, while the Heat have been floundering. And the Heat might not even avoid the dreaded play-in. So who the hell knows how far they go if they get stuck in that play-in. So while the Heat are a poor man's version of what they were last year, the Florida Panthers are one of the most improved teams in American sports from their play and exit a year ago. Like, the Panthers are dramatically better. I am completely confident in the Panthers being capable of making a deeper playoff run than the Miami Heat. So I'm all in with the Panthers right now. The Panthers now have home ice advantage against the Lightning, and they've been great, as mentioned, against Tampa this year. Tampa Bay, defending Cup champions, and yet the Panthers have proven their worth against them and against Vasilevskiy time and time again. This gives me a ton of confidence. They have owned Vasilevskiy this year, and the Panthers, they've gotten dramatically tougher defensively, thanks to people like Radko Gudas, the Butcher. And the Panthers also are just capable of getting volume scoring from so many different players on the ice. Like, if it's not Vetrano stepping up, it's the captain Barkov, or it's Huberdeau, or it's Alex Wenberg collecting hat tricks. The Panthers, Duclair, the Panthers beat you with so many different players. Sam Bennett coming on, playing great. Guys, I've been watching the Florida Panthers for almost 30 years. I haven't been this excited about them heading into a playoffs since 1996. That means something. And 1996 was the last time the Panthers actually won a playoff series. I don't know if they get back to the Stanley Cup Finals like they did back in 1996. But yeah, if you're asking me today, gun to my head, who makes a deeper run in their respected postseason, the Miami Heat or the Florida Panthers? I have every reason to be bullish on the Florida Panthers. So when we come back, oh, this is going to be fun. A Tuesday tradition brought to you by our great friends at Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurants. We are going to step into another episode of Terrible Take Tuesday. How dare they do this to Italian food? Oh, my God. And we have some really ridiculously bad takes from Skip Bayless as well. Keep it locked right here. You're listening to the only locally owned sports station in South Florida. We are OnSideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Listen to OnSideRadio.com anywhere by downloading the MyTuner Radio app in your app store. Or go to MyTunerRadio.com on your web browser. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida sports leader. When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. At OnsideRadio.com, we chirp all day and night. It's time to do some more chirping with David Dwork at our Chirping the Cats report.
The regular season may be over, but your Florida Panthers are far from finished. The Cats wrapped up their regular season schedule on Monday night when they took down the Tampa Bay Lightning by the score of 4-0. Goalie Chris Streeter made 30 saves while earning his third shutout of the season, and the Panthers got goals from Alex Wenberg, Mackenzie Weegar, Juho Lammikko, and Carter Verhaeghe, who was playing in his first game since early March. Florida now heads into the postseason riding a 6-game winning streak, with the last two coming against the Lightning by a combined score of 9-1. Now the Cats and Bolts will retreat to their home bases and prepare for their first-round playoff series. Thanks to their season-ending victories over Tampa, the Panthers earned home ice advantage in the postseason series, which means games 1 and 2 will be at the BB&T Center in Sunrise.
Keep up with the latest on the Florida Panthers by subscribing on most platforms by searching Onside Radio, your home for South Florida sports.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
With Make-A-Wish, the impossible becomes possible. A girl battling cancer can become a race car driver battling the course. The boy showing all the nurses his fire trucks can take the helm of a real one. Wishes can give kids with critical illnesses the strength to keep fighting, get better, and grow up.
Where there's a wish, there's a way.
Wishes need you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Back with you guys, Alex Donno, Man of the Match here on OnsideRadio.com. A little bit later this hour, at about 13, 14 minutes, we'll talk some Miami Dolphins, some Miami Hurricanes with Jakari Givens from the 5 Reasons Sports Network. He does an awesome job. He, Jazz Santana, and the crew on the 6 Ring Show on YouTube just do tremendous, tremendous work. In the 4 o'clock hour, we're going to talk with pro boxer Xavier Martinez. We'll also talk with George Richards from FloridaHockeyNow.com. Was trying to lock up a Heat guest. We'll see if we have any luck with that a little bit later on. Either way, we're going to talk plenty of Miami Heat, Miami Dolphins. You know the drill here on OnsideRadio.com. But, guys, it is time for our Tuesday tradition. We got some really good ones, or you could say really bad ones, depending on your point of view, to step into today. It's another episode of Terrible Take Tuesday.
There's always one idiot with a platform.
How stupid are you?
You're a moron!
Anybody can say anything these days. This is Terrible Take Tuesday.
Hey, pal. You just blowing from Stupid Town?
Terrible Take Tuesday is brought to you by our good friends at Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. Oh, you get all this and more at Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. And Matt, the owner of Checkers, is a great dude, and he is a man of the people. He loves the South Florida sports scene. He loves him some Inter Miami. He loves the Miami Hurricanes. He loves the Florida Panthers. So check his restaurant out. They do an awesome job at Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant. Got a lot of terrible takes today. Skip Bayless makes the cut a couple of times. Now, I want to start with this, and I've seen this from a handful of different people. So I can single out Omar Kelly, because I did see Omar Kelly as one of the people who's tweeted about this today, but I've seen it from a number of different Twitter accounts. So, okay, one of the arguments that a lot of people have against Timmy Tebow getting the opportunity he's getting in Jacksonville is, how dare he take up a roster spot from somebody who might actually deserve it more based on merit, right? Because Tebow, listen, they're taking a flyer on Tebow. He's not really earned this roster spot, at least not from anything he's done in the last, 9 years. He may have earned it from over a decade ago playing for Urban Meyer in Florida, but people are upset about Tebow taking up a roster spot in Jacksonville. Now, that argument it's somewhat valid. The counter argument, though, is what drives me crazy, okay? Because I'm seeing a handful of folks. This is really going around social media today. People keep saying that Udonis Haslem taking up a Heat roster spot is the same thing as Tim Tebow taking up a Jacksonville Jaguars roster spot. It's not. That's a terrible take, okay? Udonis Haslem has been on this same Heat team for 17 years. He's won 3 championships, and he's been a steward for Heat culture that entire time. I know he doesn't really play anymore, but Udonis Haslem has earned his Heat roster spot through years of service, blood, sweat, and tears, and financial sacrifice. Because think about the times Udonis took less money to stay here, and now, he's taking a paycheck not really to play. It all averages out. Whereas Tim Tebow, guys, Tebow and Haslem are not the same. Tim Tebow has never actually played for the Jaguars. In fact, he hasn't been in the National Football League for almost a decade. The last professional sport Tebow played was minor league baseball. And Tebow has not accomplished a fraction in the NFL. He did win a playoff game, but he hasn't accomplished a fraction in the NFL of what Udonis Haslem has accomplished in the NBA. So, no, it's not the same thing, okay? I can understand the people who take issue with Tebow taking up a roster spot, but even that's a little bit of a weak argument, because we don't actually know if he makes the roster, okay? Like, if Tebow actually makes the final round of cuts and he's on the final 53 for Jacksonville, then maybe we can talk. But for the time being, Tebow is just an experiment. But no, Tebow and Udonis Haslem are not the same thing. That leads me into this from Skip Bayless. Oh, Skip has been really skipping hard on Twitter this past day. So Skip Bayless tweets out, "Just watch. Tim Tebow will contribute to winning for a coach in Urban Meyer who knows better than anyone how Tebow's all-time intangibles can impact a team. He'll play H-back, run, or catch the ball 3 or 4 times a game, maybe even play special teams. All he does is win," Skip Bayless writes. Skip, when's the last time Tebow actually won anything? Did he win anything playing for the AA and high A-ball Mets? Did he win anything? I mean, outside of a playoff game in Denver or in New England or the New York Jets, where he didn't make the team at either of those spots. Like, bro, I get it. The guy was a winner at the college level where he was playing quarterback, mind you, not tight end or H-back. I don't know how you can end that tweet with "all he does is win," where he hasn't actually won anything in like 11 years. So great. That wasn't all from Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless also weighs in on the Aaron Rodgers situation. And he wrote his tweet in all caps, so you know he means business. Real Skip Bayless from Fox Sports 1 tweeted, "Congrats, Aaron Rodgers, master media manipulator, on successfully turning yourself back into a sympathetic figure and successfully negotiating what will be a record new contract after stinking up the home NFC title game and falling to 1-4 in NFC games with 9 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. So he writes. Oh, Skip. So no actual reality in that argument about the fact that Aaron has been surrounded by incompetent management, and clearly he's earned the opportunity to actually have some say and call his own shot. No, you're just going to blame it all on Aaron Rodgers. No blame for the dope Matt LaFleur for kicking that field goal. No blame at all for the Packers management for trading up and drafting Jordan Love when they should be drafting weapons for Aaron Rodgers in the first round. God, I kind of like Skip when he's trash talking LeBron James, but other than that, Skip Bayless drives me crazy. Final terrible take. I don't know, Alex, did you see this? I posted this on my Twitter earlier. I reposted it, I should say, because if I say I posted it, it would imply I had something to do with this fiasco. So somebody who responded to the tweet referred to it as Karen cuisine, and that actually says it pretty well. Oh my God. Did you see, Alex? I retweeted this. There's a TikTok video that went viral of some Karen type gal preparing spaghetti and meatballs right on her countertop. Like she's pretending that she's running like a Cold Stone Creamery or something. Have you seen the video that I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm watching it right now. It's I don't know. I'm shocked. I'm like, as you can see, I'm speechless right now.
It's one of the most shocking things I've ever seen. So this woman, I can't believe I watched the whole thing. She pours 2 entire jars of what's really nasty stuff.
God.
Any self-respecting Italian was throwing up when she pours 2 jars of Prego sauce right on her countertop. And she's talking about how, this is not like this keeps you from making a mess. Like, what do you mean? What, because you don't have plates to wash? You have to clean off your entire countertop, you idiot. So she pours 2 jars of Prego sauce on the countertop. Then she pours a bucket of meatballs, and God knows where those meatballs came from. And then she pours on a bunch of the cheap Walmart-looking Parmesan cheese that comes in that gigantic industrial-sized container. She pours that right on the countertop. And then she adds a bunch of spaghetti on there, and she mixes it right together on the countertop. And she's telling her friend, this is the best way when you've got a lot of friends coming over and you want to prepare some spaghetti. This is the best way to do it. If I got invited to that woman's house and that's what's going on, I'm calling the FBI. I'm not tolerating that. Seriously, this woman should be in prison. A friend of mine, another Italian American who commented on the tweet, said, this woman belongs in a Russian gulag. At first, I thought it was the same woman who, because another woman went viral a few months back for doing basically the exact same thing to make nachos. She poured a bunch of nacho cheese on her countertop, and it was a nightmare as well. And I assumed it was the same woman, but somebody showed me the other video, and it's 2 completely different people. So God help us all if there's at least 2 women out there preparing food like this. This is an absolutely ghastly and frightening sight. Absolutely ghastly and frightening. So that'll do it for Terrible Take Tuesday, brought to you by our great friends at Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurants. Want to say a big hello to those who are in the YouTube chat right now. We got Ray, who was first in. We got Cody Douglas in there. We got Enrique. Enrique is asking no live feed. Yeah, no video today because I'm broadcasting remotely. And I guess we've never been able to figure out how to get the cameras if I'm broadcasting at home. I'll be back in the studio in the stadium tomorrow. I just I have to be home, right when I finish the show. My wife has got to go off to work, and I've got to watch my crazy toddler. Oh, the kid has been out of control today. I mean, the kid has been throwing tantrum after tantrum after tantrum. I would love nothing more than to be at the stadium right now, but I got to deal with little Luca in about 2.5 hours, and that should be a lot of fun. But coming up next, this is always fun when we talk some football with Jakari Gibbons from the 5 Reasons Sports Network. He's going to join us on the other side. We'll talk some Miami Dolphins, some Miami Hurricanes with King Jock 24. That's where you find him on Twitter. You're listening to the only locally owned sports station in South Florida. We are OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Listen to every Inter-Miami CF match on your home for La Rosa Negra, OnsideRadio.com. Catch us every day on the MyTuner Radio app. If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
Big O, Tito is not allowed in the Boom Boom Room. Never seen Smokey and the Bandit. Never seen Top Gun. What's the matter with these kids? Look at that. Now you can't hang out with Salma, Paige, Sophia. See, now you can't hang out with the ladies because you have not seen Top Gun.
Yeah, I would just hope that, like I said, the Boom Boom Room is sanitized. I would hope.
Well, I don't know, but did you hear about the 81-person orgy?
No.
What is wrong with you?
The Onside Zone with Big O, only on OnsideRadio.com.
Join the Inter-Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
The Florida Panthers will have home ice in the first round of the NHL playoffs after a 4-0 win over the Tampa Bay Lightning. Chris Drieger picked up his third shutout of the season. Playoffs are up next for the Ice Cats. The Miami Marlins lose again 5-2 to the Arizona Diamondbacks in Game 1 of their series. They are at it again tonight at 9:40. Pablo Lopez and Madison Bumgarner will be your pitching matchup for tonight. The Miami Heat are going up against the Boston Celtics again tonight. Tip-off is at 7:30, and the game will be aired on TNT. Inter Miami came out with some big news today, announcing that on May 29th, they will be allowing full capacity here at Drive Pink Stadium. And Inter Miami is back at it Wednesday night, taking on Montreal at Drive Pink Stadium. Big O and Alex Donno get you started with a pregame at 6:30, and Chris Whittingham, Thomas Rognan, and Fernando Fiori with the call of the game at 7:30. You are listening to South Florida's only locally owned sports talk station. Coming up, it's more Man of the Match with Alex Donno right here at OnsideRadio.com.
Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common, preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yo, our next guest, someone you should know very well by now if you listen to the show. He does an awesome job for the 5 Reasons Sports Network and on the 6 Ring Cane Show covering the Miami Hurricanes. Also does a hell of a job covering the Miami Dolphins and all things NFL as well. Jakari Givens joins us here on Onside Radio. Jakari, I hope you had a great weekend, man. How you doing on this fine Tuesday afternoon?
I'm doing great, man. Just ready to talk some football. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing really, really well. And, you know, I just had my Terrible Take Tuesday rant a few minutes ago. And one of the things I touched on, I've noticed you've also tweeted about this today. how ridiculous are these comparisons that people are trying to make between Tim Tebow and Udonis Haslem, as if Tebow getting a spot on the Jaguars is the same thing as UD taking up a roster spot on the Heat?
Man, I'm really upset that the NFL would not allow it because they have no control. But you bring a guy who's been out of his profession for 8 years, right? Udonis Haslem has been in his profession for 18 years. Like, I don't care about the last roster spot. He's still been in camp. He's still been doing all the practices and stuff. This guy has literally been out of football for 8 years. He last played a snap 8 years ago, right? Wasn't very good at quarterback, moved to tight end. And we're not, it's not like Terrell Pryor moving to receiver because we've seen Terrell Pryor. He's a great athlete. This is Tim Tebow. He's not that good of an athlete. Doesn't have that much jig to him. Maybe he's tough. He's tough, but he's not going to be able to block no defensive ends or linebackers like that. And a lot of guys are going to take it personal that this guy's lining up in front of them because it's guys who I know, who I played with, who are better than him, like Tim Tebow right now. And these guys have been training all year, and now all of a sudden they can't get a shot. And then this guy been out of football for 8 years, and because his college coach got a head coaching job in the NFL, that's why he's in there. And it's terrible. That's terrible. You look at Colin Kaepernick. I know the circumstances are different, but shit, I think Kaepernick can make a roster as a backup quarterback at least. So. You look at that, and it's many guys. You can go down the list. Colin Kaepernick, Ray Rice never got another chance, even though he had a domestic violence case. That's very serious, and we take that. But if we're talking about from a pure playing perspective, and that's all I'm talking about here, Dez Bryant took, 2 or 3 years to get back in the NFL, and he deserved to be there. I can go, the list goes on and on. I can take, it's many more guys I can think of who are well deserving. It's probably a rookie guy out there right now who went undrafted the NFL draft. That's better than him right now. That's not getting a shot.
Do you think Urban is doing this because he just wants to do Tebow a favor, or do you think Urban thinks maybe I want to get this guy into my locker room at all costs? Like, not only maybe Urban thinks that Tebow can provide, great leadership, but I'm also thinking Urban knows if I can get Tebow into that locker room, I get an ally in the locker room, and he may be able to talk more of the other players into kind of supporting my ideas. Like, at the end of the day, why do you think Urban wants this to happen with Tebow?
Well, from a leadership perspective, he's not going to be able to provide leadership because ain't nobody listening to no third string tight end. That's just like in college. We're not listening to a walk-on guy or whatever. You follow the guys who play the most or who's in the face most. You follow the face of the team. Jacksonville Jaguars has many more candidates on their team that I can think of like, hey, this guy can be a leader for them than Tim Tebow. So I don't know. And Urban Meyer doesn't need an ally. He has many guys in the NFL that have spoken very highly of him. Michael Thomas talks about him all the time as how great of a coach he is. So it's he didn't need that. So, and they hired him off the fact. And the Jaguars have a pretty young team, so Urban's starting fresh there. It's no need for him to. It was no need for him to sign Tim Tebow. It's pathetic. We know why he's there, and we know why he got a chance, but that's pathetic.
Really good stuff here. We're joined by Jakari Givens from the 5 Reasons Sports Network. The Dolphins got some, I think, deserved praise. At least Greer and Flores did in the Peter King weekly column that came out yesterday. And listen, to anyone who had doubts, I don't think you did either, that they had a clear plan, right? When they moved from number 3 to number 12, and then ultimately they moved back up to number 6. Some people accused them of just like having no idea what they were doing. And oh my God, you guys, you cost yourself the chance at getting Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase, and now you need to trade back up. Like Mel Kiper mocked them into trading back up to number 4 after all that. So I think we have a pretty good idea after the Peter King piece, anyone who had any doubts, that the Dolphins knew exactly what they were doing and that they were really targeting Jalen Waddle the entire time. Now, listen, man, I know you've been watching Dolphins football for a long time, as I have. Do you feel like we finally have a front office that knows what they're doing? That's question number one. And then question number two would be, they did a whole lot to make sure that they drafted Jalen Waddle. Do you think he's going to be worth every single bit of faith that they put in him?
Well, first off, when you have two or more guys that's in agreement, it's easier for you to succeed. And then you have Chris Greer, you have Brian Flores. It looks like they just take turns on drafting guys who are their type of guys. You look at Jalen Waddle, looks like he was a Chris Greer guy, and then it looks like Jalen Phillips was a Brian Flores guy. So Javon Holland was a Flores guy, and Liam was a Greer guy. So it just looks like they're taking turns with the draft picks, but they're doing pretty good in what they're looking for. They were looking for 4 impact guys at those positions, and they did. And, yes, I've been on the Jalen Waddle train for forever, right? The reason why I wanted Waddle over Kyle Pitts is no disrespect to Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts is a generational tight end, but Mike Gesicki provides the same tools that Kyle Pitts was going to bring to offense, attacking over the middle, being a mismatch to smaller guys in the middle of the field, mismatch to certain guys. So it was going to have apples and apples. Like, you were going to roll out a set where you seen last season Gesicki was playing the big slot, attacking over the middle with Tua. Jalen Waddle brings a different dimension to the offense. You're talking about a guy who you can line up at various positions. You can put him at running back. He's going to be a great third down weapon for you. You can get him the ball in space, and he can make a 5-yard catch and turn it into a 70-yard touchdown. And your quarterback works best. He throws the ball in the intermediate to short passing. That's what he's great at, and he's one of the best 4 vertical passes in the league. And you get him guys who can attack the middle of the field, a guy who gets him in rhythm, and he trusts. He knows Jalen Waddle. He's seen Jalen Waddle make plays for Alabama when it counted the most. So you just, you don't doubt it. And like I said, the Tyreek Hill comparison is real with Jalen Waddle because he's eating angles up. 1, 2, you've seen the explosiveness that he brings to the table. In 4 games last year with Alabama, you've seen what he did, right? He was making plays. And like Devontae Smith even said on the Shannon Sharp podcast, that he would not have won the Heisman if Jalen Waddle played. So that's just the impact that he was going to bring to the table for them. So I don't see why Dolphin fans were upset with Kyle Pitts. It's just like I asked you, would you rather have Tyreek Hill, who opens up the offense for everyone, or would you rather have, a guy who's going to be like Darren Waller, or you rather a guy he's opening up the running game and passing game with his ability, and nobody's going to be stacking 8 in the box with those guys, with Jalen Waddle on the field, because they know.
And on the staying on the offense, I'm curious as to what you're expecting from the offensive line this year with the Dolphins. Like they had a very young group last year. They draft Liam Eichenberg, who I like a lot. He's going to be in the mix at right tackle. They added veterans, like swapping out veterans now with Matt Skura at center. DJ Fluker is in the mix. How confident would you feel about the Dolphins' offensive line heading into this season?
Well, they just have to find the right combination. So whatever that combination is, I'm going to be happy with it. I think Austin Jackson, Kenley, and Hunt will, will benefit from having an off season with OTAs, with mini camp, and all that stuff for those guys to get more acclimated to the system. And, just having a year under your belt in the NFL helps you. Like, you know what to expect now. It's just like when you first get a job, you don't know what to expect, but after you get in the role for 2 or 3 months, you kind of get a feel of what everything you have going on, or what's this or what's that. And now they know what to expect. Austin Jackson played well in spurts. So did Kenley, so did Hunt. They played well in spurts. Adding Eichenberg, like I tweeted, I've never seen a bad offensive lineman from Notre Dame. So
yeah.
They need to be solid at worst and you just go with that. And I'm not upset about the offensive line combinations. Just look like the Dolphins have a type. They look like they want road raiders up front and guys who can help protect Tua. And I think Eichenberg's going to be a great right tackle in the league. So I think they have the pieces together. It's just finding those combinations. But me personally, I do like Robert Hunt at right tackle because he did play very well there in his spurts there. So I think they just have to, find the right combination. But that's all the NFL is about regardless, finding the right guys and right combination for your system.
Really, really good stuff here, as always, from Jakari Givens. You can check out his work on the 5 Reasons Sports Network and on the Sixth String Kane Show, and you can follow him on Twitter at KingJock24. Jakari, thank you so much, man, and enjoy the rest of your week.
You too, man. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, always. Great breakdown. And, and I promise the next time we have Jakari on, we'll talk some more Canes with him. But there's so much going on in the NFL right now. We had some stuff we had to get to with the Dolphins. I had to talk Tebow with them. I had to, because I know Jakari has strong opinions. In fact, Jakari had stronger opinions on Tebow than I do, because I've referred to Tebow throughout the week. It's Tuesday, but 2 days into the week, I've referred to Tebow as athletic, and Jakari doesn't see it that way. I guess if you're comparing like his athleticism to some of the quicker tight ends in the league, you wouldn't put Tebow in that category. But I think that Tebow's strength and size and sort of his abilities, I consider him to be athletic. But being out of the NFL for 8 years, that's a tough sell to make me think this guy can just waltz right back into the National Football League and actually become a serviceable player. I'm not even going to say starter because I don't think that's in the cards for him, but it's kind of like a versatile H-back guy that can get on the field every now and then. I know Skip Bayless thinks he's going to have a huge impact on the league. I would tend to disagree. We'll wrap up the 3 o'clock hour when we come back. Remember, at 4 o'clock, professional boxer Xavier Martinez is going to join us. He's fighting on the Showtime pay-per-view this Saturday, May 15th. So I'm looking forward to asking him everything that's gone into the preparations for that fight. 4:35, we're going to talk with George Richards from Florida Hockey Now. For over 30 years, my friends, one radio show has been giving you the brutal honesty you need every single day, and that's Orlando Alzagari, the Big O, and the Onside Zone every day right here from noon to 3, exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the country when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to two of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans. OnsideRadio.com.
Big O for M&S Air Conditioning. Air quality in your home and business is more important than ever. That's why you've got to call M&S Air Conditioning and let them install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit. Folks, it attracts, captures, and destroys biological contaminants to improve your air quality. With stellar customer service, answering your call from 7:30 a.m. till 9 o'clock p.m. For more info on high-efficiency air filters and their preventative maintenance plans, visit M&S Air Conditioning at ac-florida.com.
Hey, what's up? It's Toast. May is here, which means hurricane season right around the corner. You need to get PGT custom windows and doors installed in your house so that you're fully protected when we get a big storm coming on through. For those windows, only one place to call. My buddies at B&T Windows and Doors. They've been doing it in South Florida for decades, and they will set you up with the best in the business. PGT Custom Windows and Doors. 954-233-0126. That's 954-233-0126 for B&T Windows and Doors.
You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world.
When you're looking to add that extra style and protection for your home or business, visit A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie or Sunrise, where plantation shutters are a major part of our business, and they look great in any home. We have them in white, stained colors, and wood tones. We can even motorize your shutters like the one in the OnSideRadio.com studio. A Shade Above Window Fashions, 954-434-4774. That's 954-434-4774. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashions.
You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Huge thanks again to Jakari Givens for joining us, talking some football. In about 5 minutes, we'll talk some boxing with Xavier Martinez, who's going to be kicking off the card on Showtime this Saturday. He's going to be kicking off that triple header, a change of opponent. His original opponent had to pull out with injury. He was going to fight Abraham Montoya. Now he's fighting former title challenger Juan Carlos Burgos. And I think the change was made only 10 days before the fight, 10, 11 days before the fight. So I'll certainly ask Mr. Martinez what it's like to have to start preparing for a different opponent so close to the fight. Yeah, I was looking over some entertainment stuff, and I've got to call out my guy, Alex Aguirre, because, bro, from now on, it is your job to update me on this stuff. I had no idea until this morning. J-Lo is back with Ben Affleck.
Yes,
J-Lo
indeed.
and Ben Affleck. Did you know that they're a thing again? You have to tell me about this the second you see it.
My bad. You're absolutely right. I know that the world cannot keep moving forward, and the world will stop if they don't know that J-Lo and Ben Affleck are back together. I will admit, it did catch me by surprise.
You know, I didn't like them together. To me, like J-Lo, I think she belongs with Mark Anthony. I didn't like her with A-Rod. I didn't like her with Ben Affleck. They don't seem compatible. I liked her with Mark Anthony. I liked Ben Affleck with Jennifer Garner, but then he had to sleep with the nanny and screw the whole thing up. Like he had to cheat on her with the nanny, and then he ruined that. Really, what an idiot. Although I don't know, I think the nanny was kind of hot, but no, I mean he absolutely shouldn't have done that. But it's like I think one of the reasons why I never liked J-Lo and Ben Affleck together was they got together originally. It's like 21 years ago, when they were in the movie Geely together. And that is, I never saw it because I didn't want to waste 2 hours of my life. But when that movie, Geely, with Ben Affleck and J-Lo came out, everyone who saw it said it was one of the worst movies they've ever seen in their entire life. Like it got absolutely slammed and panned by all the critics. And I know sometimes the critics are like very highbrow, but even like the people who watched it, like the regular people hated it. The critics hated it. Everyone hated it. And yet somehow they actually formed a relationship based on being in that movie together. And I think if you get together filming a truly awful movie, you're getting your relationship started on a terrible foundation. So that one was destined to fail, right? Like if they had gotten together on the set of The Town, which was an amazing Ben Affleck movie, I know J-Lo wasn't in it, but just bear with me. If they had gotten together on the set of The Town, which was awesome, or Argo, which was awesome, then I'd say, you know what? Have a wonderful relationship. But when you get together on the set of Geely, I knew that was destined to fail. By the way, added to the guest list, 5 p.m., we're going to talk with Alex Toledo from 5 on the Floor on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. So we'll talk some Miami Heat with Alex Toledo. We got a busy 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock hour coming up. Alex Toledo at 5. George Richards will talk some Panthers with us at 4:35. And when we come back, we're going to talk some boxing with Xavier Martinez, who has a big fight coming up on Showtime. Keep it locked right here. And remember, we got a new combat sports show, 7 to 9 p.m. every Thursday night. I host it with James Walker. We have an awesome time on Fight Night. We just launched the show last Thursday, had a great time. We're going to do it again this week and every week, Thursday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. on your home for combat sports fans, OnSideRadio.com.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the home of Inter Miami CF.
His strike is a decent one. It's fired into the top right corner. Gonzalo Higuain opens his account for Inter Miami.
OnSideRadio.com, where the passion for La Rosa Negra runs deep.
Inter Miami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Donno for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all Inter Miami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the Inter Miami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com.
When you're looking for curtains and blinds to create a space of your own, look no further than Bandalux. Bandalux can tailor your space to your needs. Create the atmosphere and ambiance you desire. We invite you to discover it at Bandalux.com. Explore our new solar control systems, range of sustainable fabrics, and energy-efficient solutions that can improve your well-being and quality of life. Witness Bandalux Beauty. Go to Bandalux.com or follow them on Instagram at Bandalux_official. For a personal experience, A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise is an official Bandalux partner.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com, broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, 4 o'clock hour, Man of the Match here on Onside Radio. I'm Alex Donno, taking you up until 6 o'clock here tonight. So 2 more hours. We're waiting on, hopefully, Xavier Martinez will call in soon, professional boxer who's fighting on Showtime May 15th. Haven't heard from him just yet, but we'll keep the seat warm for him when he does come around. Later this hour, though, 4:35, we're going to talk with George Richards, talk some Florida Panthers with George. He covers the team for FloridaHockeyNow.com. He's been covering the team forever, man. I mean, I don't want to age him, like make him feel too old, but for as long as I can remember, George was covering the team for the Miami Herald for a long time. Then he actually went to Columbus for a couple of years and covered the Blue Jackets, came back to cover the Panthers for The Athletic, and he's been writing now for his own publication, FloridaHockeyNow.com, for a couple of years, and he does an excellent job at that. So he's going to join us to talk a little Cats later on in the 4 o'clock hour. So one of the things that we are awaiting, it's actually tomorrow when the NFL schedule is going to be released, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Now, they're trying to do it up big as a TV special. They do this every year, but here's the problem. Like if you're a football fan, like it doesn't matter which team you support, you're a hardcore Dolphins fan, Bears fan, whatever you are. If you're active on social media, it's going to get spoiled for you before they do the television show tomorrow. Like ESPN likes to make a big to-do about it. We've got a primetime special, 8 p.m. We're going to announce the full schedule for every team. But if you're a Dolphin fan that, you check Twitter frequently, or you go to the Miami Herald online frequently, Palm Beach Post, Sun Sentinel, Armando Salguero and others are inevitably going to spoil it for you. And I'm not blaming them for that. They're doing their job. If they get the information, it's kind of their duty to send it out. But I don't think I'm actually going to sit at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Actually, I know I won't, because I'll be working the Inter Miami broadcast, which will overlap with that. But even if I wasn't working tomorrow night, I don't think there's any chance in hell I would actually be sitting and watching the ESPN unveiling of the schedule, because hours before that happens, the local newspapers are going to have that information, and some of the local sports blogs as well. So that's going to be out there. But a big thing I am curious about, and I would love to get the predictions from our listeners. You can either get us on the text line at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. Or you can watch us live and chat with us live on YouTube. I have a lot of fun because I'm always active, interacting with everybody on YouTube every day. So it's really fun. I think you have to have a Google account to chat with us live. So if you have an email, if you have a Gmail account, you already have a Google account. If not, you can create one pretty easily. And then when you watch us live streaming, you go to youtube.com, you search Onside Radio, make sure you subscribe to our channel, and then there's going to be a watch live button where you can watch us stream our shows live, listen to us stream our shows live. And on the right-hand side, you can chat. You can chat with each other. You can chat with me. It becomes a whole chat room community type of thing. And I absolutely love it. I interact, and every single day, at least one topic, if not multiple topics, from the chat line have turned into topics on the show. Like I'm chatting with our friends now. You guys can't see me today. You're going to see like my logo because I'm broadcasting from home today. And Doug E. Fresh asked me, Donno, be honest, are you doing the show naked in your office today? And I said, yeah, in my birthday suit, Jeffrey Toobin style. Not quite. You remember Jeffrey Toobin, the guy from CNN and the New Yorker, who he was doing one of those Zoom meetings that we've all been doing for the last year, and he forgot to turn his camera off. He forgot to exit the Zoom meeting, and then he proceeded to turn on a little porn. He went and got the Kleenex. He went and got the lubricant. And my God, the people in that chat, there was like 15, 20 people, like CNN employees in that chat. It was a real disastrous thing. All right, so we have now Xavier Martinez. He's on the line. He's got a huge fight coming up this Saturday on Showtime. Xavier, first of all, my friend, thank you so much for joining us so close to the fight. How you feeling now that you're 4 days away from kicking some ass in the ring? How's everything going? Oh, maybe he wasn't. Oh, my bad. He wasn't ready yet. I got a text that he was getting on standby. I didn't realize he wasn't there. So we're going to bring in Xavier. Oh, here he is. Xavier, so close to the fight, man. A few days away. Thank you so much for taking the time. How's everything going now that you're ready to kick some butt on Saturday?
Thank you for having me. And no, I'm ready. I'm ready to. Well, first thing I'm ready for is the weigh-in, and then I'm ready for the fight.
Like, how much weight do you have to cut? Like, how close to your fighting weight do you usually walk around at?
I try to get no bigger than over 15 pounds. I don't want to get too big because then it just makes it a little harder to lose the weight.
You know, I respect that because, like, you hear certain fighters that don't necessarily take care of their body as well between fights, and to me, I think the ones who do and stay closer to the target weight tend to perform a whole lot better. Now, there's an interesting wrinkle for you in this fight, which is live on Showtime this Saturday, because you had a late opponent change, right? You were supposed to fight Abraham Montoya, and then like 10, 11 days before the fight, you had the switch, and now you're fighting Juan Carlos Burgos. So how does that affect the training to have to go from one opponent to the other during the prep?
It doesn't really affect my training. I mean, the good thing about it is I have a sparring partner that's literally the same height and kind of fights just exactly like Burgos, so it kind of played out even more in my favor. I mean, the training stays the same no matter what, though.
Oh, dude, it's good to hear that. It's good to hear that. And hey, so, what's it like, preparing for fights? And we're pretty close, I think, to coming out of this pandemic, but I imagine you're getting COVID tested like 1,000 times, and the protocols for all the media is a little bit different. And then in the fight itself, you're not going to have like a full arena to fight in front of. So how different is that when you have to go about everything with all these pandemic protocols that didn't used to be an issue?
This time, my last fight, I was testing, like, I think 3, maybe 2 times a week. It was a pain because, I always had to remember, okay, today's a testing day. This time, I only tested 2 times. So it was a lot better this time. And, but before, it was a big difference. Of course, when you're from fighting without having to worry about COVID to now having to worry about COVID, it was a major jump. But now that everything's sort of opened up, everything, it was a lot better knowing that I don't have to test every week.
Oh, no, sorry. I thought I lost you there for a second. Yeah, no, it's certainly. Oh, yeah, sorry. I think the connection was a little bad. Are you still there, Xavier?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, great. No, I just lost you for a second. I wanted to ask a little bit about your story because, like, when you were growing up, you didn't originally want to box, right? You wanted to play football. So who was it that got you into boxing?
My dad. I wanted to play football because my brother was playing football, and then my dad played football in high school. And but I think just growing up, I was always getting into physical trouble with kids and all that, so my parents decided to put me in boxing, and it straightened me out a lot. I was doing better in that aspect. As far as like grades and stuff, school, I mean, I got my diploma, but I just never really took school very seriously.
I certainly didn't either, man. I mean, it's a. I always feel like, now that I'm a grown up, I'm like, man, if I could like go back to school like with the maturity that I have now, and I could actually like approach it seriously, maybe I'd be like a doctor or something right now. Who knows? But when I'm a kid, like forget about it, man. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Man.
That's what I'm like. I wish I would have taken more serious, but hey, live and you learn.
Like, at what point after you started boxing, and I'm sure you went through the amateurs and everything, like at what point, and maybe you knew right away that this is what you wanted to do for the rest of your life, or at least through your adult life?
I think just being as a kid, I wanted to. I think as soon as I started to get older, though, and I mean, of course, one thing is, school wasn't my favorite, so I always told myself, like, this is pretty much the only way I can be my own boss at this point in time. So, and plus I love the sport. So I said I'm going to stick with it, and, this is what I want to do.
So you fight under the Mayweather Promotions banner. Have you had a chance to meet? I'm sure you've met him. Like, have you had a chance to spend some time with Floyd? Because that dude, like, I've interviewed him before, but haven't spent a whole lot of time. He just has an aura. Like, what's it like being around Floyd?
It's definitely different. As soon as he steps in the room, it's a different. It's different. Like the whole room changes. I mean, even I sparred Tank last year, and that man's still working out. Like, you know, he stays in shape, and Floyd's a good dude.
Yeah, he seems like it. I was watching, the madness. He was down in Miami last week, and did you see the video of Jake Paul snatching the hat off of his head? I'm sure that's something that probably any professional fighter would take that as a huge sign of disrespect.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, at first the smack talk is fine, but then when you start doing stuff like that, then you're crossing the line.
Yeah, no question about that. We're talking with Xavier Martinez, who's fighting on Showtime this weekend, a big card, May 15th. So I hope everyone watches it and everyone's in Xavier's corner. Just, hey, let the people know, man, if you want to send a message to your fans, to those of our listeners out there, our viewers, what sort of a fight should they be expecting when you step into the ring?
They should expect, an exciting fight, and I will be victorious. And just make sure to tune in.
Love to hear it, man. Best of luck to you. I know you're not going to need it, but good luck, and we'll be watching you Saturday. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Good stuff there. Nice guy, Xavier Martinez. I love it. I'm happy he could take some time. 844-416-8123 is how you get in. That's 844-416-8123. Derek King getting some respect. And also, speaking of quarterbacks, but at the pro level, got some interesting sound concerning Justin Fields from his new head coach. And this actually sheds some light on why a lot of NFL GMs were, I guess, a little bit concerned about Justin Fields at the next level. I think some of those concerns have been addressed here. You're listening to Onside Radio. Hey, make sure you guys check out Kai's Corner every day. Our guy, Kai Chen Chisholm, he's an awesome dude. He's very well-rounded, whether he's talking Dolphins, whether he's talking Heat, whether he's talking Bundesliga. Kai always brings it in Kai's Corner every day from 10 a.m. to noon, exclusively right here on OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnsideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnsideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
Hey, Big O, what's going on? Listen, I just was telling your guy that answering the phone, Alex, it's just a pleasure, man, to get out of work and get in your car and be able to put on the radio and hear South Florida sports and not have to listen to some bull crap about another team from another state that you can give to a rat's ass about and sit there and have to go through all this other bull crap talk to, again, never hear them talk about your team once or twice in 20 hours. It's just an honor, and I wanted to thank you, man, for starting this thing up, man. It's balls to the walls. I love it.
Onside Zone with a Big O from 12 noon to 3 p.m. every weekday on OnsideRadio.com.
Inter Miami CF fans, join us at our new home this season for all away games as we broadcast live at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company, 1901 North Federal Highway in Pompano Beach. Join Big O and Alex Donno for the live pregame, halftime, and postgame shows while we watch the games. Enjoy meticulously brewed beer on site, delicious artisanal pizzas, live music, and giveaways. So, the new home for all Inter Miami road games is at Dangerous Minds Brewing Company at the Pompano City Mall, where they'll feature all the Inter Miami games. Follow them on Twitter at Dangerous Minds B and Facebook and Instagram at Dangerous Minds Brewing, and visit them at dangerousmindsbrewing.com.
Hey Panthers fans, Dave Dwart here with some awesome news. Every Saturday, I'm going to bring you the latest on everything to do with the Florida Panthers with Chirping the Cats Radio. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., we'll dive into the state of the team, recap games, and hear from past and present Panthers players, and plenty of other great hockey guests too. Got questions about the Panthers? Call or text the show and we'll break it down. Don't miss Chirping the Cats Radio, Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m. only on OnsideRadio.com.
Big O for M&S Air Conditioning. You know, air quality in your home and business is more important than ever. That's why you've got to call M&S Air Conditioning and let them install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit. Folks, it attracts, captures, and destroys biological contaminants to improve your air quality. With stellar customer service, answering your call from 7:30 a.m. till 9 o'clock p.m. For more info on high-efficiency air filters and their preventative maintenance plans, visit M&S Air Conditioning at ac-florida.com.
ADHD. It's the child who can't pay attention or sit still in school, right? The answer may be yes. Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, or ADHD, can be complicated and it can last a lifetime. Living with a condition can sometimes be a challenge. It may take years to accept a formal diagnosis, and it's not always easy to find the right treatment plan. Did you know that up to 75% of children and adolescents with ADHD have at least one additional mental health condition that also requires a comprehensive approach to treatment? ADHD guidelines were recently updated to reflect the need to screen for associated disorders. Be sure to talk with your child's doctor about proper screening and visit moretoadhd.com for additional information. That's moretoadhd.com. This message has been brought to you in partnership with ADA, ACO, and CHAD.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Huge thanks again to Xavier Martinez for joining us. Later this hour, we'll talk some Florida Panthers with George Richards from FloridaHockeyNow.com. Panthers got me all jacked up yesterday. I didn't know what to expect heading into these most recent two matchups with the Tampa Bay Lightning. You know, we knew that the 2 seed versus the 3 would be on the line. It's not a tragedy either way. Like, I'm sure the Tampa Bay fans aren't saying, oh my God, we screwed the pooch. You know, we've got the 3 seed now, no home ice. This is huge trouble. I'm sure that they're feeling fine knowing, they knew heading into Saturday's game against the Panthers and Monday's game, no matter what, you're facing the same opponent. Now, I think in the case of Tampa Bay, they were probably less concerned with home ice advantage than the Panthers were. Now, home ice advantage, obviously, you're not getting full capacity, but I think we're opening up to 50% capacity. So that's a lot better in the playoffs than what we've had. I mean, better being a lot more people than what we've had throughout the regular season. So the fans are going to make a difference. Like, you're going to be able to hear them. Teams are more comfortable in their own locker room, sleeping in their own beds anyway. You're going to have some fans there. But I think to whom home ice advantage matters more to the Panthers than it does to the Tampa Bay Lightning, because Tampa Bay, they've got the pedigree. They just won the championship. They won the Stanley Cup last year. They know what it means to make a deep run. They know what it means to make a Stanley Cup run, where for, most of these Florida Panthers players, if they can get past the first round, it's going to be uncharted waters for these guys. So hopefully home ice will actually make a difference for us, and I'm happy that they got it. We may have kind of solved a big NFL draft mystery. Okay, so heading into the draft, we heard repeated negativity concerning Justin Fields, the quarterback out of Ohio State. It became very obvious before the draft that he was going to slide a little bit. You compare the narrative about Justin Fields from January, which was mostly, hey, he's going to be the second quarterback taken. Like, he may be the number 2 or number 3 overall pick. We knew Trevor Lawrence was going first, of course, but the narrative around Justin Fields 4 months ago was this guy is going to be a top 5 pick. And then that narrative kept changing. Well, we don't know. He's going to slide out of the top 5. He might slide out of the top 10. He ended up sliding out of the top 10. He was taken 11th overall by the Chicago Bears. And we were kind of wondering before the draft and right after the draft, why? What's going on here? We had some narratives going around. Dan Orlovsky said it a few weeks ago, or at least a couple weeks before the draft, that NFL people had told him they questioned Fields' work ethic. Right? They're not sure if he's a hard worker. They're not sure if he's committed to do whatever it takes to win in this league. And we all thought that's freaking ridiculous. I mean, look what this guy did when he took that shot to the body in the Clemson game, got back in the game. A couple weeks later, he's in the national title game. We were concerned if he would even play, and he did. He suited up. Like, are you telling me this guy doesn't have the commitment to play in the NFL? And then coaches who had worked with him in the pre-draft process and coaches that worked with him at Ohio State all stood up and said, no, that's a false narrative. This guy is not, don't compare him to Dwayne Haskins just because they both played at Ohio State. That's not the case for him. So we were wondering, like, where is this narrative coming from? So apparently where this came from, and I don't think it's really fair. So I was reading a piece, and we have some audio to go with it because his new head coach in Chicago spoke about it. But Justin Fields last year at Ohio State, he threw only 6 interceptions in the 8 games he played in last year, which is pretty good. I mean, listen, it wasn't a full season. He didn't play 15, 16 games like you would in a normal year when you win a championship. But in 8 games last year, 6 interceptions is pretty good. But 5 of those 6 interceptions came in home games against Northwestern and against Indiana. And apparently those are the games that scouts were really scrutinizing, that they didn't really like what they saw in those games. So Fields completed 18 of 30 passes for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions when Ohio State snuck by Indiana on November 21st. And then roughly a month later, completed just 12 of 27 passes for 114 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 picks in a 22-10 win over Northwestern in the Big Ten championship game. So those are the games reportedly that scouts were saying we didn't really like what we saw from him on the field. This could raise some concerns for the next level. I'm calling shenanigans on that idea, though, because really outside of Trevor Lawrence, you could pick apart some of Zach Wilson's performances. You could pick apart Trey Lance's performances. In fact, we haven't had a whole lot of Trey Lance performances, period, because the guy has barely any experience and he was playing at North Dakota State. So I don't really quite understand how you magnify 2 games so much for Justin Fields and you don't magnify games for these other quarterbacks nearly as much. But I thought that this issue was handled pretty well by Matt Nagy. He made an appearance on the Ross Tucker football podcast this week, and this is how Nagy addressed those performances from Fields in the college level and how he evaluated those.
Those are the 2 games that everyone goes to and discusses because you look at some of the different looks that they were giving them in that offense. And you see, whether it's sacks or interceptions or decision-making. And those games happen. You give credit to those teams and those defenses for mixing things up. They gave a couple different blitzes and looks that were, pretty good. And I think at the same point in time, you still give Coach Ryan Day a lot of credit for being able to adjust to those and still come out with the wins. But that's going to happen. The way I look at it, Ross, is I say, okay, and I talked to Ryan Day about this, is, how does he handle those situations when that goes on? What is he like on the bench in between series? What is he like talking to you coming off the field after a bad play or a sack? How was he after the game when you won, but it didn't go real well offensively? And those are, to me, what's important.
So
those are the 2
like
games.
That. So I like that a lot because it's not only because very few quarterbacks come out perfect in their collegiate career, right? You're going to have some bad games. Like, maybe you could say Trevor Lawrence didn't have terrible games, but, you're going to have some bad games at the collegiate level. It's not only what you did wrong in those performances. I think it's also important how you handled yourself there. So I think that makes a lot of sense. You talk to his college coach, Ryan Day, and you ask him, what was his demeanor like? How did, and whenever we watch football games, you see it. When a quarterback throws an interception, what's the first thing you see on the sidelines? They're talking the play through with their offensive coordinator or their head coach, and they're having a discussion on, hey, this is what you did wrong there. This is how you've got to make sure you don't do that again, right? And so, you get feedback from their coaches on how those discussions went. How did he handle, some of his poor performances, and how did he improve from it? So I think that makes a lot of sense. I like that Marla sent in a text She says that, breaking news, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to sign Brett Favre. Hey, you already brought in Tim Tebow. Who else are you going to dig up? Curly Lambeau. Oh, my God. Oh, man. So, no, I think that makes a lot of sense, and I like the way that Matt Nagy handled that when, talking about some of the lackluster games that Justin Fields had at the collegiate level. Something I wanted to get into before our guest in the 4:00 hour called in. And I want people to weigh in on this on the YouTube chat. I want people to weigh in on this on the text line at 844-416-8123. That's 844-416-8123. We're going to have the schedule release by the NFL tomorrow. How many primetime games do you think the Dolphins are going to get in 2021? Now, I think the top. Now, Dolphins had just 2 primetime games last year. Only one of those was originally scheduled. They had a Thursday night game, and then later in the season, when we saw, hey, the Dolphins are doing really well, the NFL flexed the Dolphins-Raiders game into primetime. So they had 2 primetime games last year. They were only scheduled to have 1. I think the most any team had last year was 5 primetime games. And so what do we have last year? Dolphins finished 10-6 last year. They were knocking on the door for a playoff spot. The Dolphins, quite frankly, are one of the most talked about teams in the league because their quarterback gets scrutinized a ton. You notice that, right? I mean, every time we turn on one of these debate shows, every time we turn on First Things First, if anybody even watches that on Fox Sports 1, or you turn on First Take on ESPN, you're watching Get Up on ESPN, seems like a couple days a week these guys are talking about Tua Tagovailoa and the sink or swim thing coming up in the 2021 season. Like, oh, you got all this talent now. Is Tua actually going to be able to improve? Is he going to be able to show he's a franchise quarterback? They're all talking about it 2 or 3 times a week, so the quarterback gets talked about a ton. The front office is now very respected because Peter King really gave the Dolphins, specifically Chris Greer and Brian Flores, a ton of love in his Football Morning in America column that came out yesterday, and it's led to everyone now praising Greer and Flores, which is great. And the Dolphins are getting talked about a ton for their offseason moves. Their draft has been widely applauded. Some of their free agent moves, they went out and got Will Fuller, which was a high-profile move. Then they drafted Jalen Waddle, which was a really high-profile move in the draft. So, honestly, I think for me, the Dolphins were just scheduled for 1 primetime game last year. I think we're going to see 4 this year. I think we're going to end up with 4 primetime games. That was my prediction. Our friend Kyle Krabs also wrote a piece about this from last year. He said, so the NFL effectively told the Dolphins, thanks, but no thanks. Our expectations are low. But even still, 2 games on the national stage is modest. Baltimore, Green Bay, New England, the Los Angeles Rams, and Tampa Bay all originally received 5 primetime games apiece last year when the schedule was released. The Las Vegas Raiders, after their Week 16 flex, also played 5 after originally having 4 scheduled. The 5th was the one against the Dolphins. The Seattle Seahawks, San Francisco 49ers, Pittsburgh Steelers, New Orleans Saints, Dallas Cowboys, and Buffalo Bills were assigned 4 primetime games. So he said if those teams, including a small market team like Buffalo, can command a quarter of their 2020 schedule in primetime, why can't the Dolphins in 2021? This team's coming off a 10-win season. They added electric playmakers, offers the unquestioned starter status of one of college football's biggest stars in recent years into a middle-tier market at a strong last impression from the last time they played on the national stage. He said the Miami television market ranks higher in size than Green Bay, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore, just to name a few. So he said when the NFL schedule 2021 is released this Wednesday night, expect to see the Dolphins handed a much bigger primetime menu in 2021. He says, we are calling our shot with 4 games. I agree. He said, including 1 on each broadcast between Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, and Monday Night Football. So I will take that in a heartbeat. Now, I'm glad that this is no longer the Adam Gase era, because you remember when Gase was in charge, every time the Dolphins had a primetime game, they would get humiliated. That was the Gase era. In the Brian Flores era, They had that primetime game against the Raiders, and it was one of the greatest miraculous finishes of all time. Ryan Fitzpatrick, as he's getting dragged down by the neck, makes that ridiculous throw to help the Dolphins come back. So obviously Fitzmagic is no longer around. Hopefully we see those sort of theatrics from Tua. But yeah, as a Dolphins fan, you can sign me up for 4-5 primetime games. I think this team deserves it. And I think this team is talked about enough because, heading into last year, coming off the 5 wins in 2019, people didn't really expect the Dolphins to move the needle. They can move the needle. They can be exciting. So I think we're getting a lot of love in primetime this year. When we come back, we're going to give a lot of love to the Florida Panthers. George Richards from FloridaHockeyNow.com is going to join us to talk Panthers Lightning. The playoff series is going to get started this weekend. So keep it locked right here. And remember, Saturdays, 10 to 11 a.m., our guy David Dwork brings you all the hockey talk you can handle with Chirping the Cats Radio. Dwork does an awesome job covering the Panthers. He's a close personal friend of mine. He's fantastic. He's going to be joining the show later in the week, by the way. I think on Thursday, Dwork is going to come on. So make sure you listen to his show, Chirping the Cats, 10 to 11 a.m. every Saturday, only right here on OnSideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can connect with us at OnSideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnSideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
Now that it's springtime, it's only getting hotter here in South Florida. Make sure your AC in your home or business is running smoothly by investing in a preventative maintenance plan from M&S Air Conditioning. And M&S is a Mitsubishi Diamond Elite contractor. When you purchase a new Mitsubishi electric mini split system, you'll get a 12-year warranty. Or install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit that captures and destroys biological contaminants to improve air quality. M&S Air Conditioning have been providing prompt, honest, and reliable service for over 30 years. Schedule service or call to get more info on our preventative maintenance plans. Call 954-421-3680 or visit ac-florida.com.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnSideRadio.com sports update.
The Florida Panthers will have home ice in the first round of the NHL playoffs after a 4-0 win over the Tampa Bay Lightning. Chris Driedger picked up his third shutout of the season. The playoffs are set up and next for the Ice Cats. The Miami Marlins lose again 5-2 to the Arizona Diamondbacks in the first game of their series. They are at it again tonight at 9:40 with Pablo Lopez and Madison Bumgarner, your pitching matchup for tonight. The Miami Heat are in Boston once again, and tip-off for their game is at 7:30. The game will be airing on TNT. Inter Miami is back at it Wednesday night, taking on CF Montreal here at Drive Pink Stadium. And guys, big news came out for Inter Miami announcing that they will have full capacity at Drive Pink Stadium on May 29th. Big O and Alex Donno will get you started with the pregame for the game tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. And Chris Whittingham, Thomas Brogdon, and Fernando Fiore with the call of the game at 7:30. You're listening to South Florida's only locally owned sports talk station. And coming up, it's more Man of the Match with Alex Donno right here at OnSideRadio.com.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
Riddle me
this, with all this sizzling meat and crunchy veggies nestled between toasty flatbread. Who should get credit for Papa John's new papadilla? The person who invented pizza or the person who invented folding? Well, whoever it is, a tip of the tongue hat to you, sir or madam. Get a new papadilla, 4 flavors, just $6 each. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's.
My daughter Brinley is here at St. Jude. Coming here was literally life or death, and it was so scary. But St. Jude is fighting for one goal, like this one mission, life. And that gave us hope. We haven't received a single bill from St. Jude, so I really can just focus on what's best for Brinley.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, welcome back into Man of the Match here on Onside Radio. We need to be celebrating the Florida Panthers. 6 straight wins to close out the regular season, including 2 emphatic wins against the Tampa Bay Lightning, who they're about to face in the playoffs. 9-1, the combined score in the Panthers' favor these last couple of games. I can't think of anyone better to talk about all this stuff with than our good pal George Richards from FloridaHockeyNow.com. George, happy Tuesday to you, sir. How are you?
Happy Tuesday to you. I didn't know you were celebrating today. Good. Yeah, good.
Of course.
Happy Tuesday.
Every day's a holiday when the Panthers are winning, man. I absolutely celebrate. So, I mean, first things first, George, there's so much to get into because I kind of look at it like a 9-game playoff series with the Lightning when you face them for seeding the final 2. Then we have the 7-gamer coming up. How significant is it in your mind? And maybe it's not that significant, be honest with me, but how significant is it to have home ice advantage for this series?
Well, I think you get that extra home game. You don't have to travel this week. You get the practice at home. And even though it's a short flight to Tampa, for them, it's a short flight to Fort Lauderdale. Still, you get this whole week at home, and then you open up in front of your home fans. And if it does go to Game 7, you're at home. But in hockey, you know what? Home ice advantage doesn't really mean a whole lot. We've put a lot of weight into it, and then we've seen how many teams over the years win Game 7 on the road. So it was there for the taking for the Panthers. They went out and they took it. They outscored the Lightning, 9-1 in these 2 games. And that is not the Tampa team we're going to see starting Game 1. But it was there. The Panthers took it. They feel good about themselves. God bless.
Now, Andre Vasilevskiy, excellent goalie. You wouldn't necessarily know that if you only watched him face the Florida Panthers. He's 2-4-0 against the Cats this year. Is this just some kind of statistical aberration, or is there something about the way the Panthers play, the angles that they shoot from, where Vasilevskiy's just not a good matchup, or the Panthers are not a good matchup for him? Is there anything to that, or could it be completely different in the playoffs?
Well, at least this year, it hasn't been a good matchup. He's dominated the Panthers over the past couple of years, but this year, you're right. And I think that's one thing the Panthers can take away from this is they've scored against Vasilevskiy. Last month they got 5 on him up there at Amalie Arena in Tampa. So, aside from that one Juho Lammikko, that wraparound goal where he kind of surprised them, there were no fluke goals. The Panthers were scoring. Well, there were, the Wenberg goal was a fluke, the one that bounced over his head, but they've found a way to score against this guy, and I think that gives them some confidence going in because Andre Vasilevskiy is an all-world goalie. The only team that's been able to touch him this year are the Panthers, and he may win another Vezina this year and match. He and Sergei would be the only 2-time active Vezina winners in the league. So. I think that helps the Panthers moving forward. They are not scared of Andre Vasilevskiy, where maybe other teams taking him on would be.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, just the success that the Panthers have had against Tampa Bay, and I'm not saying that necessarily carries over into the playoffs, and we'll get into that. But how good the Panthers have been against the Lightning has certainly made me just into more of an all-out believer in this Panthers team, George. Because a couple of months ago, even with the Panthers doing very well, because they've been right there competing for first place in the division all season long. But still, a couple months ago, if you'd asked me, do I think the Panthers could make a playoff run, I still would have been doubtful, knowing that you're probably gonna have to go up against Tampa Bay or Carolina in the first round. They're going up against Tampa Bay, but the Panthers have proved, outside of struggling against Carolina, time and time again, the Panthers have shown this is a different hockey team from last year. So, are you cautiously optimistic that the Panthers could actually do something really exciting and maybe win their first playoff series since 1996?
Yeah, no, they definitely can. And I think that, the way that they've played everybody in their division safe, and even the games against Carolina were all close. They were all close. Even the games, where it was 3-0, 2 empty net goals or something like that. So they were, almost all 8 of those games against Carolina were 1-goal games late in the game, and Florida had a chance in all of them. So they just didn't get the results to go their way. They lose 6 out of 8 to Carolina, but they were all close. So, yeah, I mean, this team seems built differently than we've seen in the past. This is a very hard-nosed team. They're not going to get pushed around. They have the ability to score. They have the ability to play defense. And if the goaltending is there, they're going to be a hard out. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of reason to be optimistic. And I think that there's also a reason if they end up losing this series to Tampa Bay, that there's no shame in that either. We're going to have to let this thing play out. But Tampa Bay are the defending champions, and there's a good reason for that. They've been the best team in hockey the last 2-3 years, and they go into a different gear, and they're getting 2 of their best players back just in time for the playoffs. So they're going to be a different looking animal once game 1 comes around.
We are joined here by George Richards, covers the Florida Panthers for FloridaHockeyNow.com. You mentioned goaltending, George. Speaking on that, Sergei Bobrovsky been in much better form as of late. Chris Driedger has been in good form really all season long. I'm assuming they're going to start the series with Bob, but since the Panthers have had a 1A, 1B situation here, how quick would the hook be? Like, if Bob doesn't look great game 1, do they go right to Driedger game 2? How do you think that's going to go?
We'll have to see. I mean, it depends how they feel. That if they feel that Bob is fighting the puck or something, they might go to Driedger. If he's just given up, some goals that maybe aren't his fault. I don't know. But I think they're going to give Sergei Bobrovsky every opportunity to win these games. That's why he's here. That's why they signed him. They signed him for this time of year. Let's not forget they signed him, not long after he swept Tampa Bay in 2019 when, Tampa Bay was the best hockey team anybody had ever seen, and the Columbus Blue Jackets go in there as the 8th seed and sweep them. And Sergei Bobrovsky was obviously a big part of that. And we can't forget that he got off to a slow start in that game. In the first period of that game, the Tampa Bay Lightning had a 3-0 lead. They were about to make it 4-0. Bobrovsky makes a spectacular save. I believe it was on Stamkos. And next thing you know, Nick Foligno scores, and it's 3-1. All of a sudden, Columbus rallies, wins game 1, and they are off to the races. So you have to maybe, give the guy a chance to do his magic. But he's got a history against Tampa Bay that's pretty good, and they're going to give him every opportunity to earn this.
I'm assuming, and maybe I'm wrong, that your answer to this question would be Alexander Barkov. So I'm going to take him out of the equation just for the sake of making you think a little bit more. Outside of Barkov, who's been your Florida Panthers MVP this year?
Ooh, that's a pretty good question. It might have been, a month ago, maybe Aaron Ekblad. Jonathan Huberdeau led the team in scoring. You could even go with Mackenzie Weegar, the way he took over when Aaron Ekblad got hurt. We have seen Mackenzie Weegar turn into a legitimate top 2 NHL defenseman. Just over the last couple years, and for a guy that they traded back into the 7th round to get, that's quite the prize. MVP aside, it is Barkov, and I don't think it. And that's why I'm just throwing out names, because it's Barkov. I mean, I don't.
And that's why I had to make it difficult for you, because I figured you would say Barkov.
Yeah. There could be there are 6, maybe 10 runner-ups, but it's Barkov running away with this thing.
All right, so before we let you go, I have to put you on the spot. Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning, they're about to start a 7-game series this weekend. Do you have a prediction? How's it going to go? Who wins? How many games?
I still have Tampa Bay winning it, just because I think that they have a whole different gear, but I think it's going to be a great series. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Panthers win it in 5. Nothing in this series is going to surprise me, and I think that's why this playoff, not only for the Panthers and Lightning, but I think every series is a coin flip. You don't know what's going to happen. Even the Carolina-Nashville, if Nashville gets the goaltending that we've seen from UC Saros, Nashville is the 4 seed, could beat Carolina the 1. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it could go either way, but I think it's going to be a hard-fought series. And I think if you're a Panther fan, the way that the Panthers have handled themselves this year, the team didn't go on any long losing streaks. They were able to bounce back from adversity. They lost some of their top players to injury at the same time and found a way to win. This team just feels different than in years past. And, I don't know what's going to happen in this series, but whatever it is, this has been a hell of a year for them.
Well, and everyone, make sure that you're reading George's work at FloridaHockeyNow.com. He's going to have you covered all throughout the series. Hopefully it's a 4-game Panthers sweep, and we move on to the next one. But however long the series goes, George will have you covered on Twitter as well, at George Richards. Thank you so much, George, for taking the time. Enjoy the rest of your week and enjoy the series coming up.
All right, Alex. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, buddy.
Happy Tuesday. We've made it a holiday. I mean, it's a terrible take Tuesday. It's a great day, but there were no terrible takes from George. They're all very good takes. All right, we're going to wrap up the 4 o'clock hour when we come back. Hey, at 5 o'clock, we're going to talk Miami Heat basketball with Alex Toledo from 5 on the Floor on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. When we come back, I have the ACC championship odds. So how much money can you win on Miami if you want to place a tasty little bet on the Canes? And also De'Ara King getting some preseason love. I love to see that. You're listening to the only locally owned sports station in South Florida. We are OnSideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
Hey Panthers fans, Dave Dwart here with some awesome news. Every Saturday, I'm going to bring you the latest on everything to do with the Florida Panthers with Chirping the Cats Radio. Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., we'll dive into the state of the team, recap games, and hear from past and present Panthers players, and plenty of other great hockey guests too. Got questions about the Panthers? Call or text the show and we'll break it down. Don't miss Chirping the Cats Radio, Saturday mornings from 10 to 11 a.m., only on OnSideRadio.com.
You're listening to OnSideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
She's kind of young, so I don't know. She may not be into Van Halen much. Let's see. Ruthie, good afternoon. Are you a Van Halen fan?
You know, I just had to Google Van Halen. I'm not going to lie to you. I just literally have it on my computer right now.
The Onside Zone with Big O. Weekdays 11 to 1 p.m. Only on OnsideRadio.com. You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world.
Can I get a captain?
Captain and what?
Captain and Ginger.
I can't hear you.
Captain and Ginger.
He was a captain and ginger. Captain and ginger. He was a captain and ginger.
Captain Morgan, official partner of Major League Soccer.
Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Huge thanks there to George Richards from Florida Hockey Now. Although, how dare he pick the Tampa Bay Lightning to win the 7-game series? You know what? I did ask him for honesty. I did ask him to be honest. I get where he's coming from. Tampa have another gear. They just won the Stanley Cup last year. But I'm telling you, man, if the Panthers can keep stepping on Vasilevsky's throat the way that they have in the regular season, I think we're going to score a lot of goals in this series. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. I've got a little pep in my step today because it looks like I am on my way to a 3-0 day in soccer wagers today. The 82nd minute, I've got Southampton on the money line against Crystal Palace. Southampton is up 3-1, so they're really going to have to screw it up here if they don't win this game. They're going to have to give up 2 goals within the final 10 minutes. Stranger things have happened to me, but I doubt that's going to happen. And a couple of final scores. I had Leicester City on the money line against Manchester United, plus 115. Leicester gets it done, 2-1. And I had Napoli -1 against Udinese, and they win comfortably 5-1. So looking like a 3-0 day in soccer. How about that? We've had a couple of bad weeks. We're making the comeback this week, my friends. Speaking of odds, I'm looking at some preseason odds for the ACC Conference Championship. This is really not surprising, but I'm sure if there are any Hurricane fans out there, Miami Hurricanes fans, who are looking at making some futures bets, right? If you're really bullish on Miami, you think this is the year that we dethrone Clemson for the ACC championship because, hey, Trevor Lawrence is no longer a college football player. That's the good news. The bad news is DJ Uyunglele looks excellent. So I don't really feel that confident that Clemson is going to lose a whole lot. Obviously, I'm not expecting DJ Uyunglele. I keep saying his full name because I'm so proud of myself for being able to pronounce it. I'm not expecting him to be quite the same player that Trevor Lawrence was, but the kid's got a lot of talent. I mean, he had to start in that Notre Dame game last year and did pretty well, despite the fact that, Notre Dame, the first time those two teams faced, not the second time, the first time they faced in South Bend, Notre Dame did have the very dramatic victory, but that was not on the true freshman quarterback. So, yeah, no surprise. Clemson is heavily favored to win the ACC at -900 odds. That means you'd have to risk $900 just to win 100 on Clemson. Pretty risky, but you have to understand it'd be pretty surprising if they don't win the conference. Then the second favored team, and it's pretty close after that, North Carolina Tar Heels are the second favored to win the conference at plus 700, which means a $100 bet would win you $700 if North Carolina wins the conference. And then, there's Miami, third, plus 800. So they're right there with Carolina. That also tells you that Carolina are slightly favored in the Coastal Division because you have to win the Coastal if you're going to win the ACC. But in the ACC, it's Carolina plus 700, Miami plus 800. So if you're a Hurricanes fan and you're really bullish on and listen, at those odds, you throw a few bucks at it. If you win, you win. If you lose, it's not that big of a deal. So if you do, if you're looking at maybe peppering a little cash on Miami to win the ACC conference, a $100 bet would win you $800 back. Or if you want to go really light, a $10 bet would win you $80 if they won the conference. Then it's a pretty big gap from there. So Miami plus 800. Then you have NC State plus 1,800. Louisville plus 2,200. Virginia Tech plus 2,500. Florida State plus 3,500. Virginia also plus 3,500. Pittsburgh plus 4,000, Boston College and Georgia Tech plus 6,600, Wake Forest plus 8,000, Syracuse plus 10,000, and Duke plus 10,000. So if you have like a weird premonition that Duke is going to win the conference, you could make a lot of money off of that wager. I'd mentioned something about De'Aaron King. We'll get to that later on in the 5 o'clock hour, because coming up next, we're going to talk some Miami Heat basketball with Alex Toledo, who does an awesome job with 5 on the Floor on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. We'll talk about whether or not we're ever going to see Victor Oladipo again in a Heat uniform, although maybe the Heat have already agreed with him to sign like a prove-it deal next year, and that's why they might be shutting him down for the season. They're not officially shutting him down, by the way. That's just my assumption. That's not been made official, and the Heat have a huge game against the Celtics tonight. So we'll talk about that and much more with Alex Toledo from 5 on the Floor coming your way next. Remember, Miami Heat basketball fans, Ira Winderman joins every show on the station every week for the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat reports. Ira has been covering the Heat since day one, does an awesome job for the South Florida Sun Sentinel, and he is an Onside Radio exclusive. He joins us throughout the week. He joins me every Thursday on your home for Heat fans worldwide, OnsideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the Radio.net app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
Hey, it's Toast, and when I got PGT custom windows and doors installed at my house,
people do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back. Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the Radio.net app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station.
Hey, it's Toast, and no doubt last year hurricane season was one of the craziest we've ever seen. Well, Noah's saying once again, going to be another active season, so you need to call B&T Windows and Doors today and get PGT custom windows and doors installed like I did so that you are fully protected. Listen, there's no better peace of mind than PGT custom windows and doors when you're in the cone of death for a Category 5 storm. Call B&T Windows and Doors today to get set up. 954-233-0126. That's 954-233-0126.
Miami Dolphins fans can always count on the best coverage at OnsideRadio.com. Every week, keep up with your favorite team as Dolphins writer Omar Kelly joins us with exclusive reports. And when news breaks, catch the EJDConstruction.com Miami Dolphins report on the home for Dolphins fans everywhere, OnsideRadio.com. You're listening to the flagship station of Inter Miami CF, OnsideRadio.com. Follow us on social media at Onside Radio. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno.
It's all yours. Just keep it right here.
You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, welcome back in. Third and final hour for the day for Man of the Match with Alex Donno. I'm Alex Donno, taking you guys up until 6 o'clock tonight. Big one for the Miami Heat this evening. I know that on paper, they do lead the Boston Celtics by 2 games, but if they lose to Boston tonight, They're one game up in the standings, but Boston has the tiebreaker. You've got a tougher schedule the rest of the way. If you finish with the same record, it's Boston who gets the 6th seed, and the Heat will get the play-in, which we do not want. So it really feels like a must-win tonight. To talk about that and so much more, we welcome in our good pal, Alex Toledo from 5 on the Floor on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. And there's Alex's all over the place. We got Alex Aguirre producing, Alex Donno hosting, Alex Toledo with us. It's pure chaos. Mr. Toledo, how you doing this afternoon, sir?
I'm doing all right, man. And I just realized that, like, I already knew it was a bunch of Alexes, but now you just put it all together, and it just kind of tripped me out.
No question about it. Now, I look at the Heat injury report. There's only one player out tonight, which is good, and that one player is Victor Oladipo, which is absolutely no surprise. Do you think we've seen Oladipo for the last time, not only this season, but do we ever see him in a Heat uniform again? What's your take?
Oof, that is a spicy question. I definitely don't have any definitive answer. If I were to guess, like I've been saying for the past, since he got injured, that I would expect him to come back to the start of the playoffs, and it feels like that's been the sentiment. Now, over the past couple of weeks with all these road trips and stuff, and people announcing, oh, he isn't coming on the road trip. I think that's kind of gotten people into, okay, we're in crunch time now. The season's almost over. He still isn't back. Will he ever come back? And I'm in that same mindset because it's starting to look like he isn't going to come back. And I think the worst kept secret out there in regards to your second question, which is will he ever play in a Heat uniform again, is that the Heat are going to try to use all their cap space this summer on Kyle Lowry. And I wonder if they're going to try to make Oladipo work with them to try to get some sort of team-friendly deal because he's definitely not going to get a max. And so that begs the question, will he come back? And it's starting to feel less likely the more time passes by.
Now, when that trade was made, the Heat didn't give up a whole lot. Kelly Olynyk has been putting up good numbers, though. But and obviously Pat had no way of knowing, that Oladipo would tweak the knee against the Lakers, would be in this situation. But still, knowing what we know now, like having the benefit of hindsight, do you think Miami regrets making that trade, or should Riley say no regrets whatsoever?
No regrets. I think it's still no regrets. Like, it obviously would have been nice to have Kelly Olynyk still. And I know everybody was kind of harping on him and him not being good enough and needing an upgrade earlier on in the season. And I think everybody would like him back now. He's just a nice player. I know he's putting up the stats in Houston. It's not even about that. He's just a nice, good player to have on your team. But still, to me, it's no regrets. Like, I think they needed somebody of Oladipo's caliber. It was a swing that I was all in for. And I'm still kind of if he can come back, I don't care. I don't really care that there's only a couple of games left in the season. I don't care that it's too late to comfortably bring somebody back into the rotation, heading into a playoff stretch where you're supposed to be a contender. Like, I don't care. This team, to me, you can't be beggars if you're the choosers, right? Like, they need all the help that they can get right now. They need somebody who could defend the point of attack, somebody who can attack the rim. Even with their improved offense over the past month or so, I still think Oladipo can help. And so, final answer, no regrets.
I like it. You know what? Again, Riley had no way of knowing what would happen to Oladipo, so I'm with you. No regrets. I'm all in on that. So, going into before Sunday's game against the Celtics, we knew that the Heat might really have to win both of these games in order to secure 6th seed, at least avoiding the play-in. They got the job done on Sunday. A tremendous first half, 79 points. Then they held on the rest of the way. They got it done. The Heat are in Boston again tonight, and Miami are a 1.5 favorite in this game, which is, I'm not sure. I didn't check the line really up until about 5 minutes ago. I thought someone had said that Boston was favored, so the line might have swung in Miami's favor. Alex, in your opinion, did the Heat get it done tonight? Did they win 2 straight against Boston?
Look, it's really tough. It's really tough to trust them to win 2 games in a row, especially against the same team. Not that they're not capable of doing it. They absolutely are. The Celtics are going to be, again, without Jaylen Brown, right? So, to me, it's absolutely possible. I would like to call it. I think it would be really nice if they could clinch the playoffs tonight and clinch being out of the play-in. But for some reason, it doesn't feel like that's what this Heat team from this season is going to do. For some reason, I'm not even trying to be negative. I'm just feeling a loss tonight. I don't know why. I don't know. There's no basketball reasons to it. It's just more along the lines of the theme of inconsistency that's been happening throughout the season.
What's really stood out to you from Dwayne Dedmon? Because he's really been a revelation, and he's being talked about not only well on the court work, but his Heat teammates seem to love him. Has he exceeded your expectations?
Oh, he definitely exceeded my expectations. I like the idea of bringing him on earlier, but just seeing him on the court and the absolute size that he has and knowing how to use it, it's just a breath of fresh air, man. Like, you don't need to rely on him for too much, but you can just know that when Bam sits, you can feel pretty good about where your bench unit is at, especially compared to where it was before, because their bench unit has been pretty bad all season. You know, Goran and Tyler were not the same dynamic duo off the bench that they were last season. And look, man, I've been a Precious guy. Like, he's a pretty incredible athlete. He's just a young dude. Like, he had a lot of defensive lapses when he was playing, and he's not grown into his body yet at all because he's a rookie. And to me, like, Dedmon is just somebody who not only has a bunch of inches on Precious, has a lot of weight on Precious, has IQ when it comes to Precious, just because he's been in the NBA so much longer. Like, he knows what to do out there. He knows how to drop back on a pick and roll, how to use his body for rebounds, how to, you know, when to cut and get that drop down pass from Jimmy or whoever is going into the paint there. He knows how to set hard screens, which has helped Goran and Tyler a lot. Like, I just think he is the definition of solid, and I love what he's brought for them.
How much faith do you have in this team to win a playoff series or two? That's part A. And then part B would be, if they can avoid the play-in, who do you want to match up with in the first round? What would be your dream matchup?
Well, if you're just talking about dream matchup, okay, and speaking of matchups, to go to your first question there, I do think they can win a round or two, and it just goes along with the matchups. Like, I just think if you can get the Knicks or the Hawks in the first round, like, I understand the Heat have been inconsistent all season, and nothing is a gimme for them. There's no way I'm even thinking about picking either of those two teams against the Heat. Like, I understand the Hawks and the Knicks have been pretty good. There's no way I'm picking them over the Heat. Like, I just trust Jimmy, Bam, and Spo in the playoffs. I trust that they have enough depth. Like, they're kind of turning the corner right now. They're kind of in the right direction, trending in the right direction. So I do feel pretty good about that series. Now, if you're talking about going into the second round and, let's say you have to face Philadelphia in the second round, I think that may be their path back to the conference finals, because I'm not afraid of Philadelphia at all. I'm just not. Like, I think besides the Brooklyn Nets, which is kind of everybody's consensus Eastern Conference favorite for the most part, I think the Bucks are a lot scarier this year. After making the Jrue Holiday and PJ Tucker moves, they've been looking great on the court. I think Giannis has gotten even better than he did last year, a little bit more of an in-between game. And then, to me, like, they're just a lot more filled out. And Philadelphia, to me, is just a team that I have a lot of questions about. And I feel like I've always been a Sixers hater when it comes to Simmons and Embiid. I just never really liked them when it comes to being a Heat fan. But it's not even about that. I just think knowing how the Heat are going to defend those guys, if they were to get the Sixers in a second round series, I would feel pretty good about it, knowing that they're going to try to make Embiid into a passer and try to make the rest of the team beat you. And that's where I have a whole lot of questions. Like, I've seen Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons in the playoffs the past couple of seasons, and it's not at all impressive. This team hasn't won anything, and it hasn't really done anything in the playoffs without Jimmy Butler there, by the way. And not even to make it about him. I just have a whole lot of questions about them, even knowing that they've kind of put it all together this year with the shooters around them, with Embiid taking another step as a mid-range guy. I'm not at all really worried about that. Like, go ahead and take those mid-range jumpers. As long as Bam is out of foul trouble, as long as the Heat are executing that, the fronting defense, because I bet you we wouldn't see Bam on Embiid a whole lot, I think that would be a really tough series for Philly, and I think that he could actually get back to the conference finals with that matchup.
Beautiful. And as far as first-round matchup, we all want the Knicks, right? I mean, how much fun would that be, Alex? And obviously, it would suck to lose to the Knicks because their fans would never let us hear the end of it. But, oh, man, taking out the Knicks in the first round when these Knicks fans are talking as if they're already hoisting the O'Brien Trophy. Like, I despise the fact that anytime the Knicks have any sort of regular season success, Linsanity back in 2012, now they're having a decent season, and these New Yorkers talk as if they've actually won something. It drives me crazy. Please get me the Knicks in the playoffs.
Oh, my God. I love that idea. And I love that you brought up the Jeremy Lin thing, because we will all never forget that. What happened with Mario Chalmers and Norris Cole just shutting down Jeremy Lin in Miami. And then, subsequently in the playoffs when the Heat eliminated the Knicks. And it's great because I think that's what's going to happen again. It's great. Like, again, their regular season success is going to get, is going to come down to a sad elimination by the Heat. And that whole talk of the Knicks eliminating the Heat, I'm not even going to consider that. I really think it's that much of an easy matchup for the Heat. Like, Julius Randle has taken a huge step this year. There's no doubt about it. I'm going to give them respect. They've been a good team. They're not like a joke of a team or anything, but they're not that good. I think the Heat can get them in 5, and I'm going to stand to that. I'm not afraid of the Knicks at all. I don't even think it will be that competitive a series. I think it will be an ugly series aesthetically, with both teams trying to play ground and pound. But you know what, man? I'm all in. Let me get that. Let's make the Knicks fans sad again.
I love it. He's got the guts. Alex Toledo from 5 on the Floor is with us, from the 5 Reasons Sports Network, is with us here on Onside Radio. So here's the $20 million question, because that's apparently what Duncan Robinson could end up costing as a restricted free agent. So, I mean, listen, I like Duncan. I kind of wonder, because the Heat have had so much success over the years in finding and developing 3-point shooters. So would you pay Duncan 20 or more million per year if that's what it takes to keep him? Or would you say, thank you for your service, move on? What would you do there?
I think it's hard to let go of Duncan at this point after not having traded him in the regular season, after seeing him come kind of round back into form. And I do understand that thinking, and I generally do go along with that thinking. To me, it just kind of, Duncan is one of the 5 best shooters on the planet. I don't know that they can replace that, and I think he creates just a whole lot of value for their offense, an offense that kind of needs everything they can get, especially this season. So you're talking about a team with 2, for the most part, non-shooting superstars when it comes to Jimmy and Bam. The both of them will take some mid-range jumpers every now and then, but for the most part, they're non-spacers. And to me, that kind of reinforces Duncan's value even more. And so I'm kind of thinking that $20 million is going to be the max that he gets this year, in the sense that it's not going to go over that. I wouldn't be surprised if it starts as low as like 15 or 16 million. I have no information or sources regarding that. It's just me taking a guess based on kind of the contracts of other guys similar to him, like Joe Harris and Davis Bertans over the past couple of years. But to me, like, he's that type of guy that, for example, like, he is their Joe Harris. And it's even more, I think he's even more valuable to the Heat than Joe Harris is to the Nets, because the Nets have 3 absolutely great shooting superstars. And maybe Joe Harris is a luxury for them, where I feel like the Heat kind of need Duncan right now. And so although, like, you look at that price tag and it seems like a lot for somebody who they just developed, I just think it would be, like, I wouldn't be absolutely against replacing him, but to me, that was the conversation at the trade deadline was like, well, if you're going to trade Duncan, it's because you're doing it to upgrade your team. And so that's when I'm about trading Duncan. It's a trade that makes sense. I was kind of willing to trade him and somebody else for Kyle Lowry at the time, and I think that's the type of scenario where I'll be willing to move him. But as far as just free agency, I think you sign him. I think you try to get him to a friendly deal, somewhat friendly, right? Like 15, 17 million, hopefully. Maybe it's not 20 million. Regardless, I think he's going to be tradable because of just how good he is.
Well said. Really good stuff here. You want to make sure you follow Alex Toledo at Tropical Blanket on Twitter. Check him out on the 5 on the Floor podcast on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. He does an awesome job. Alex, thank you so much, and enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you, man. You too.
Really good stuff there. And hey, guys, if you're looking for a spot to grab some dinner tonight or grab a couple of beers after work, man, if you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. It's so good. The brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. And with daily specials, there is something for everyone. I make friends every time I go to Checkers. Everyone is so nice there. If you're up for a challenge, by the way, take their famous boot tour. I've done this. You finish 30 boots of different varieties of German beer, and you'll receive half price on their beer for life. And you'll get to take home your own Das Boot and Checkers Old Munchin t-shirt. They also have outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music, by the way, as well as carry-out, curbside pickup, and delivery. So, for the finest German food and beer, and it really is excellent, get on over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard. Get out there tonight or get out there this weekend. It's in Pompano Beach. Follow them on follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations at 954-785-7565. That's 954-785-7565. And when you get out there, you'll see Matt, the owner. Talk sports with him. He loves it. He's a big Florida Panthers fan, Miami Hurricanes fan. He loves Inter Miami as well. We will see you at Zagat-rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You can now watch Onside Radio daily by subscribing to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Search Onside Radio. Log on, subscribe, rate, and review Onside Radio on YouTube and Twitch. Find out why Big O has a face for radio. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's home for real sports talk.
If you're looking for a change from the everyday restaurant, then you need to get to Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant in Pompano Beach. Brats, Wiener Schnitzel, homemade potato pancakes, pretzels with mustard, and lots of German beer. Take their famous Boot Tour Challenge, and there's now outdoor seating available in their new beer garden with live music. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Checkers Old Munchin Restaurant, or call them for reservations or pickup at 954-785-7565. So get over to 2209 East Atlantic Boulevard in Pompano Beach to Zagat-rated Checkers Old Munchin German Restaurant.
Inter Miami CF, your official furniture and mattress store, is here. City Furniture is your #1 home source for the trends you want at the prices you'll love, including exclusive City Furniture collections, the widest selection of styles, affordable home accents, mattresses starting at just $99 and more. Create the home of your dreams fast with next-day delivery, plus get 60 months special financing with no down payment. Because City Furniture is here to make it easy so everyone can live life like this, visit cityfurniture.com.
I'm Ryan Seacrest. First responders are people who stand for a greater purpose. They will be there for you when nobody else is, to help you, your family, your community. This is their selfless promise. This is their sworn duty, to protect, to serve, to help. They put themselves in harm's way for us. They come to the rescue at times when we need them most. First responders are making enormous personal sacrifices to keep showing up for us and fighting the good fight. Nearly 70% of all firefighters are volunteers. That means when they get injured or quarantined, they may not have a way to pay their rent or keep their family safe and fed. No matter who you are or where you live, when you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day and every night.
Go to firstrcf.org and make a difference today.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's true hometown station. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. Check this out. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Yeah, welcome back in to Man of the Match here on Onside Radio. Huge thanks to Alex Toledo for joining us. And He got me really, really close to coming over to the Duncan Robinson thing. I mean, I still stand by the idea that I think if it's 20 million or more, it's too much. You know, when he talked about the possibility of, because remember, he's a restricted free agent. So the Heat, they can match whatever offer sheet. So, you know, Duncan, he's not completely free to choose where he goes, but he can get an offer from any team. The Heat can match it and retain his services. If the offers that are coming in are in the 15, 16 million range, I'd do that. 20 million or more, I might balk at that. And I also understand that Andy Ellisberg is a magician. He's the cap gymnast, the cap gymnastics he's able to pull. So, you know, they might find a way to bring in a big splash while paying Duncan Robinson 20 million or more. It's not beyond the realm of possibility. I feel that the Heat have done such a great job over the last 20 years of finding and developing shooters that you don't necessarily need to pay this one that much money. But yeah, you talk about his overall value. He's one of the best 5 shooters in the league right now. So you might have to bite the bullet on that. I get it. He almost talked me into it. Almost talked me into it. I love some of the conversations being had on the YouTube live chat. By the way, if you can stream us live on YouTube, you just I wouldn't necessarily recommend it if you are like in the car. You probably don't need to pull up the YouTube, listen to us through one of our mobile apps, because you probably shouldn't be doing a live chat while you're driving or anything like that. But if you're sitting at home or you're sitting at the office, go to YouTube app or youtube.com, search for Onside Radio. Make sure you make us your favorite station. You can subscribe to our channel there. We're well over 500 subscribers now. We're trying to get to 1,000. That's the next milestone that we're looking for. And once you're on there, you can hit watch live. And when you're in there, there's a live chat room. So you guys can interact with me. You can interact with each other. Tony 2 times writes in, if the Florida Panthers get swept or lose the series to Tampa in 5, I am jumping from my roof. It's not high, so I will only hurt a little bit. It'll only hurt a little bit. Okay, so I'm glad you're not like in a 50-story apartment building or something. So I'm glad you clarified that, right? Because I don't want you jumping from the roof of like a building on Brickell. Okay, so if it's a 1-story house, you know, you think about inflicting a little pain on yourself. Go ahead. Yeah, listen. I would hate to see the Panthers lose a non-competitive series. I've waited the last 25 years to see this team win a playoff series. They haven't done it since 1996. They made a magical run to the Stanley Cup Finals that year. Some of you listening may not even be old enough to remember that. Like Alex Aguirre, 1996. Were you even born yet? If so, how old were you at that time?
I was 1 year old. Just one.
So you don't remember the 1996 run to the Stanley Cup Finals?
Surprisingly, no, I do not. I do not remember anything.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't that old. You make me feel a little bit old, but I was 11 years old that spring/summer, because we're talking like April, May. I think the Stanley Cup Finals might have been like into early June, whatever it was. But I can remember going to a couple games, including a playoff game with my father, and throwing the plastic rats on the ice, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And yesterday we were talking about the new Mighty Ducks series, Game Changers on Disney Plus. I grew up on the Mighty Ducks movies, and the original Mighty Ducks film came out about a year before the franchise was born, before the Panthers franchise was born, because I think it was 1992 the Mighty Ducks movie came out. And the timeline makes sense there, because when the Panthers came into the NHL, it's like right around the time that the Anaheim Ducks, which were called the Mighty Ducks back then, they freaking named them after the movie, which was crazy. So like the Mighty Ducks, it might have been like a year after the Panthers came in, because it was the Panthers and the Avalanche, who used to be the Quebec Nordiques before that, came into the league. But yeah, I think the Mighty Ducks movie came out when I was in 2nd grade. And then the Florida Panthers franchise was created when I was in 3rd grade. And it was perfect because I didn't know shit about hockey before the Mighty Ducks movie. Like, I didn't know. I mean, South Florida kid, there's no ice. Like, what the hell do I know about hockey? And then the Mighty Ducks movie comes out. I'm watching Emilio Estevez, Gordon Bombay. I'm watching the Flying V, Charlie Conway scoring the big penalty shot goal. I'm like, oh my God, I am all in. Like, I made my mom buy me a hockey stick. Like, I was playing like street hockey at 9 years old. We were probably killing each other, my friends and I. Everyone, it was so crazy. For those of you who are old enough, especially when you were a kid, because if you were like already a grown up, it probably hit you different. But if you were a kid, like I see Tony 2 times says he turned 10 that year. So I think he turned 10 the year of the Rat. So he was probably like 6 or 7 years old when the Mighty Ducks movie came out. Every kid growing up in wherever you were, it didn't matter if you were in Minnesota, if you were in Canada, if you were in South Florida, when the Mighty Ducks movies started coming out, we were all playing street hockey, right? I went out and got a hockey stick. My mom bought me like a little puck with wheels on it, but that didn't really work. Ball hockey was what you had to do. You had like a little ball, like I think a little bit smaller than a tennis ball, like a little plastic ball you would play street hockey with. And dude, I would play with my friends street hockey like all day because of the Mighty Ducks movies. Nobody in South Florida was doing that before the Mighty Ducks movies came out. And then a year later, the Florida Panthers franchise is born. Then the second Mighty Ducks movie come out. It was the time of my life. Oh, Joseph Rodriguez remembers. He writes in Knuckle Puck. Oh my God. In the second Mighty Ducks movie. And it was, I think it was Keenan from Keenan and Kel was the kid who did the knuckle puck. Like they went and found this guy playing street hockey in Los Angeles. Like, oh my God, he puts the puck sideways, which I don't know how you could do that in a real game because he has to like stand there for 5 seconds and adjust the puck. But then he hits the puck and it flies around like crazy, the knuckle puck. So in the first Mighty Ducks movie, you had Fulton Reed, who had the ridiculous shot that like burns a hole in the back of the net. And then in the second Mighty Ducks movie, you find Keenan from Keenan and Kel, who does the knuckle puck. Unreal scenes. The Mighty Ducks movies were so much fun growing up on that. So yeah, absolutely tremendous, man. Oh man, and Joseph Rodriguez says can't wait for the UFC event this weekend. It's gonna be great. We're gonna be talking about it on Thursday night. James Walker and I are gonna be hosting another episode of Fight Night, and so this is gonna be cool on Thursday. And I think he's gonna do the double dip with us this week. I think he's also gonna join us for his regular Friday spot. But on Thursday night, we're gonna have our pal Lee Sterling from ParamountSports.com. You notice when he comes on with me on Fridays, he usually gives us 1 or 2 UFC fight picks per week to go along with some NBA, Major League Baseball, and a few hockey picks. But he's going to join us. Lee Sterling is going to join us for 2 segments on Thursday night to really go deep into the card from a gambling perspective. So we're going to go over like probably 5 fights of it. And you know, I think that's really a treat because he usually reserves most of his fight picks for the paying subscribers of ParamountSports.com. And, you know, if you've been a listener of Lee Sterling on the radio and if you do subscribe to his website, you've been winning money. I mean, some weeks are great. Some weeks are not so great. I think we lost more than we won this past weekend, but he's had enough perfect weekends to make up for that. He's going to join me and James Walker on Thursday night, and we're going to go through like 5 of the fights on the card with Lee Sterling. So that is going to be tremendously awesome. Tony 2 times writes in, ball hockey and rollerblades. Sports Authority got rich on selling hockey gear in South Florida because of that beautiful small block of hockey mania. Yeah, I was playing the roller hockey as well. I had rollerblades when I was a kid. Like, and I would use them so much I would wear them out, and like every 6 months I'd have to get a new pair of rollerblades. The crazy thing was, for as much as like I enjoyed playing hockey with my friends, like we'd get like, I don't know, 6 to 8 guys together and play like roller hockey, ball hockey on the street, like on the block. As much as I love doing it, and I ice skated a little bit when I was a kid, like once in a blue moon, I'd go to an ice rink and like I could stay on my feet. Like I wasn't like a complete disaster on the ice, but whether it be on ice skates or on rollerblades, I never mastered skating backwards. That was never something I could figure out. And I could have never been a real hockey player. Like if you could only skate in one direction, you can't really play hockey, especially if you're a defenseman. If you're a forward, you can get away with it a little bit. But, you know, never being able to skate backwards I knew I had no real future in hockey. So it was fun for a couple of years, like second, third, and fourth grade. I was playing hockey, and then like I had like a buddy of mine. A buddy of mine was so into it because of the Mighty Ducks, and then he got really into the Panthers franchise. He was committed. This little Brazilian kid that I went to elementary school with. He was so into the Mighty, and I haven't talked to this kid in like 20 years. So he may have become like a professional goalie. I mean, I've never seen him in the NHL, but maybe he who knows? He might have been playing in like the Russian league or something. I have no clue. But this kid that I went to elementary school with was so obsessed with becoming a hockey goalie. I think he bankrupted his family because the equipment that you have to buy to play goal, and he probably, like, his parents were probably a little bit richer than mine. I don't know what the situation was, but he used to buy like the most expensive goalie pads and equipment, and it's like it costs several $100s to have the equipment to play goalie. I think he put his family in the poorhouse. So I haven't spoken to that kid in forever, but I hope he ended up, actually doing something with his life, because he spent so much money on goalie equipment. It was crazy. Joseph writes in, the only bloody nose I've ever gotten was from that orange roller hockey ball. Oh, you got hit in the face. Oh, man. Yeah, the only bloody nose that I ever got was probably around 5th grade, playing backyard football with my buddies, because we would do this thing where it was like, we were like 10, 11 years old, and we would do this thing where we were technically playing 2-hand tag. Like, that was the official, like, that was what we told my friends' parents, like, oh, we're playing 2-hand tag. And then we were tackling each other, like, full on. And I was the biggest kid of my friends. Like, I wasn't that great, because like some of my friends were just way more athletic than I was, but I was big, like, compared to my friends. Like, I was taller and heavier than them. So they would always want me on their team, because like I was like Mike Allstott. Like, you just give me the ball and I would just run and like knock people over. So that was kind of fun, but I got tackled pretty hard a couple times, and I thought I had a broken nose this one time, but it was just a little bloody. It was not broken, thank goodness, because then I had to explain to my parents. They're like, oh, I thought you were playing 2-hand tag football. Why is your nose bloody? Accidents happen when you're out there with your friends, man. Not everything necessarily goes by the books, okay? I like this. De'Aaron King is ranked the 3rd best 2021 college football quarterback by Pro Football Focus. So De'Aaron King, who is coming back for what's going to be his 6th college season. Everybody got the extra year of eligibility due to COVID. He's taken advantage of it. He's coming back for a final year at Miami. And according to Pro Football Focus, the only quarterbacks they rank ahead of De'Aaron King are Spencer Rattler of Oklahoma. He's getting so much buzz, rightfully so. He's very good. And same thing with Sam Howell of North Carolina. Now, I'm hoping Sam Howell, after losing De'Ami Brown, his best receiver, and losing both of his running backs that humiliated Miami last year, I'm hoping that offense takes a little bit of a hit and they make Sam Howell look not quite as good as he was last year. But after the two of those guys, De'Aaron King is rated 3rd by Pro Football Focus of returning quarterbacks in the entire country, not just in the ACC, in the entire country. Here's what they write about De'Aaron King. The U was hoping for an elite dual threat quarterback in 2020, and boy, did King deliver. He made tons of plays both through the air and on the ground in his first season with the Hurricanes, resulting in a 90.6 Pro Football Focus grade for the season that ranked 10th in the FBS, and now they get him for another year. On 111 runs, 85 designed, and 26 scrambles, King totaled 26 rushes of 10 or more yards. He produced more than 10 yards after contact on 13 of those rushes, the most at the position. The 5'11", 202-pound quarterback also rarely put the ball in harm's way. And by the way, 5'11", that's one of those things with De'Aaron King. He's going to go through the whole draft process next year. I love him, but I'm fully expecting De'Aaron King to be one of those guys where when he shows up for his pro day and then the combine, they're like, oh, wait, he's not 5'11", he's 5'9". Like, I'm expecting something like that, right? You always see generous listings in college. Like, they always add a couple of inches. like I used to do on dating sites, if you know what I mean. You always add a couple of inches to the quarterback, any position, really. 5'11". He's probably really 5'9", man. 5'11", 202 pounds, the official listing. They write he consistently made the right decision and came in at number 3 in the FBS turnover-worthy play rate, 1.7%. Miami will be a dangerous team in 2021, assuming King fully recovers from the ACL he suffered in the Cheez-It Bowl and is ready to rock on week 1. Now, week 1's not going to be easy, okay? I saw somebody from Kane's Twitter, I noticed yesterday, was saying he was upset that Miami fans are already conceding week 1 against Alabama. Like, he's really angry that Kane's fans are, like, already, admitting defeat against the Crimson Tide. Like, he's upset that we're not having more faith in our team. It's just one of those things where we're being real. It's not, we're not disrespecting Miami. We're disrespecting Alabama. That program is a machine. I mean, Nick Saban routinely replaces first-round draft picks with 5 stars who become future first-round draft picks. It's a factory. Like, it is a factory of elite talent. Now, I said it before and I'll say it again. If I'm going to face Alabama at any point in 2021, I would rather face them week 0 than week 5, week 10, week 11, because that team, I think, is only going to get better throughout the year. Because when you are breaking in a bunch of starters, more so on the offensive side of the football, defense, not as much. They got most of their guys back. But on the offensive side of the football, they're breaking in new starters at quarterback, wide receiver, running back. I'd probably, an offensive line as well. I'd probably rather get them first week of the season than once they've kind of figured it out and put everything together. But listen, if you see any Canes fan talking about the Alabama game like it's a loss, don't think they're disrespecting Miami. They're just being realistic. I mean, every Canes fan wants to win that game. Of course, like nobody's going to it saying, oh, why even play the game? Who cares? I love the platform. I love national TV, the Peach Bowl kickoff. The Chick-fil-A kickoff. I think it's a great opportunity for Miami to really impress some people, against an opponent in a game everyone in the country is going to be watching. And if Miami can pull off what I think would be a pretty massive upset, I would be thrilled, like beyond belief. I would, if Tony 2 times is jumping off his 1-story roof after the Panthers lose to the Lightning in the first round, like I'm jumping off my 1-story roof, like right into the swimming pool, drunk off my ass to celebrate if Miami beats Alabama in the first game of the season. I'm absolutely going to love that. We roll on here on Man of the Match on Onside Radio. We take you up until 6 o'clock here this evening. Start your morning every day, 8 a.m. with Toasted Sports. My guy Toast does an excellent job talking about the South Florida and the national sports scene with amazing insight on the Miami Hurricanes program. So tune in to Toasted Sports, 8 to 10 a.m. exclusively right here at OnsideRadio.com.
The Man of the Match with South Florida's own Alex Donno. Weekdays 1 to 5 p.m. on the home for Inter Miami football. OnsideRadio.com.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that. Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Get the brutal honesty every day with the Onside Zone with a big O from 12 noon to 3 p.m. every weekday on your home for sports talk in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
The Florida Panthers will have home ice in the first round of the NHL playoffs after a 4-0 win over the Tampa Bay Lightning. Chris Drieger picked up his third shutout of the season. Playoffs are up next for the Florida Panthers. The Miami Marlins lose again 5-2 to the Arizona Diamondbacks in Game 1 of their series. They're at it again tonight at 9:40 with Pablo Lopez and Madison Bumgarner, your pitching matchup for tonight. The Miami Heat are in Boston once again tonight. Tip-off is at 7:30, and the game will be aired on TNT. Inter Miami came out with some big news today, announcing that on May 29th, they will be having full capacity here at Drive Pink Stadium. And guys, don't forget, Inter Miami CF is back at it tomorrow night as they take on CF Montreal at Drive Pink Stadium. Big O and Alex Donno get you started with the pregame show at 6:30, and Chris Whittingham, Thomas Rognan, and Fernando Fiori with the call of the game at 7:30 p.m. You are listening to South Florida's only locally owned sports talk station. And coming up, it's more Man of the Match with Alex Donno right here at OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida. Locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnsideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
I gotta say, without an actual game being played yet in the Urban Meyer era, it's already trending towards failure. He can recover from it, no doubt, because again, he's got Trevor Lawrence there. They haven't actually played a game yet, but this has been a weird offseason for Jacksonville. I mean, he brought in that controversial strength coach that they let go. And this Tebow thing, this really might end up being such a circus that it can already divide the Jaguars front office. This is not being received well. I'm just reading through a piece at ProFootballTalk.com posted by Mike Florio. It's like Urban shouldn't be doing this when he's not coached a game yet there. Like, if he did something like this a year or two into his tenure and they're winning and they're improving and he's already built up some equity there, that might be the time to do it. But the Tebow signing, this is trending towards bad things. A schism could be in the offing, writes Florio. With the Jaguars reportedly planning to sign tight end Tim Tebow, there's a chance not everyone in the locker room will roll out the red carpet for a guy whose job opportunity seems to be more about hype and revenue than X's and O's. Via Jeff Darlington of ESPN, quote, not everybody in the Jaguars building is thrilled with the looming arrival of Coach Urban Meyer's former Florida protege. He's coach's pet is what he is. There's a point Sims made on Pro Football Talk Live. How will the other players react to a player who is more sideshow than serious football player? And the funny thing is, we were having these conversations about Tebow 8 years ago, and he's now been out of the league for 8 years. Because you remember when When he had a cup of coffee in New England and New York, we kept bringing up sideshow, circus. Is it worth the distraction? Clearly it wasn't back then. And now he's been out of football for 8 years. How do you think it's going to go now? Then how will Meyer, who has always been the unquestioned emperor of his football team, react to that? Earlier this year, Meyer made a controversial coaching hire. He quickly parted ways with Chris Doyle after facing strong pressure and scrutiny, although it's unlikely that Meyer will suffer a similar external reaction to signing Tebow. Tebow could end up being a tough sell internally. How Meyer sells it, whether other players buy it, and what Meyer does about it will remain to be seen. At some point, Tebow will have to show that he belongs. If he can't, but if then he isn't abruptly cut, Meyer could have a credibility issue in his locker room. I mean, there are two reasons why an NFL team would hire Urban Meyer and two reasons why they should think twice about it. I mean, the two reasons to hire him, number one, you have to wonder if he's just such a genius that the NFL has been waiting for a guy like Urban, right? I mean, that's kind of the gamble you take because he very innovative offensive coach in college football, had a lot of success there at multiple different stops, like overachieved at Utah, won 2 titles at Florida, won a championship at Ohio State. He proved his mettle in college, right? Another reason why you would hire him, and I know that front offices would never want to admit this, but a lot of publicity. Right. And they say no publicity is bad publicity. Right. Or any publicity is good publicity. And, you know, hiring a guy like Urban, it puts a spotlight on your franchise for better or for worse. Right. And, you know, drafting Trevor Lawrence is great for them. They also have Urban Meyer. So Jacksonville now becomes the epicenter of the NFL universe. So publicity is one of the reasons to hire him. But the reasons why you think twice about hiring a guy like Urban, unpredictability, because you never know when he might walk away when the going gets tough, because he did that at Florida, did that at Ohio State. And then you also have the controversy, right? I mean, you know, protecting a domestic abuser like he did at Ohio State. And then he tries to bring in this strength coach at Jacksonville. You know, this Tebow thing is becoming a sideshow already. Like, these are the reasons why you think twice about hiring Urban. And it's already, you know, it's not trending well there. Another hot button issue in the NFL, and I want to play some sound here from Ian Rappaport this morning on NFL Network on the direction we're heading in with the Packers and quarterback Aaron Rodgers. This is the latest from today. Give it a listen.
Yeah, well, where the Packers and Aaron Rodgers are is basically where they have been, I would say, over the last several weeks. They are not anywhere. They are not in a good place. They are not happy with each other. I think the Packers have done a lot of different things to try to make Aaron Rodgers happy, to try to get him to kind of come back to them a little bit. They've made a significant long-term contract extension offer, and the two sides have been negotiating, so it's not like they've just been talking to themselves here. There certainly has been some engagement from Rodgers' side. We know something that Mike Garafolo reported last week, that Rodgers has talked to several different players about joining him somewhere else. However, of course, as we know, the Packers have zero plans whatsoever to trade him. The real question, Tom, is can the two sides come together, agree on a contract extension that makes everyone happy and move forward? If you listen to sort of friends of Rodgers like James Jones on our network, nothing has been ruled out, and coming together and working it out is still on the table. We'll just see if they can do it in time to where it kind of means something this spring.
That's pretty wild. And listen, if you heard on Terrible Take Tuesday earlier, Skip Bayless strongly feels that Rodgers is just strong-arming the Packers. Like, he's strictly doing this to become sympathetic and to get a contract extension. I don't look at it that way. And it's one of the possibilities that Ian Rappaport outlined. That he didn't completely rule out a reconciliation. He didn't completely rule that out. But one thing we all know about Aaron Rodgers is nobody holds grudges better than this guy. You think about his exes. You think about his own parents. This guy doesn't talk to his mother. Guy doesn't talk to his mother, doesn't talk to his own brother. Nobody holds a grudge better than Aaron Rodgers. You think if this guy can't work things out with his mom, that he can work things out with the Packers? I mean, I love my mom. I can't even imagine being in a fight with my mom and like cutting off my mother and never talking. I don't know how Rodgers is capable of even doing. Maybe his mom is just a terrible person, or he's a terrible person. It's got to be one of those two things, because to not be able to have a relationship with your mom, one of the two of you has to be an awful person. I don't think there's any other way about that. But he's great at holding a grudge. And then, you know, when we had reports before the draft that he was telling players, I'm not going to be here. And that he's now telling, you know, friends of his, Packers players and others around the league, why don't you guys join me somewhere else? That doesn't sound like a guy who wants to be a Packer. Like, when you have been actively negatively recruiting against the Green Bay Packers, so you're already hurting your franchise, then why would you want to re-sign with that franchise? And they've already offered him a lucrative deal. Does he just want more money? I doubt it. I think he probably would have signed on the dotted line or agreed to report for OTAs and training camp by now. I really think this is heading for a very messy divorce. We'll wrap up this episode on the other side here of Man of the Match. Remember, tomorrow is going to be a big day and a fun day. I'll have the show from 3 to 6. We've got Inter Miami CF hosting CF Montreal tomorrow night. That'll be a 6:30 pregame start. They'll be live at Drive Pink Stadium. So make sure you guys are fully locked and engaged tomorrow. But we'll wrap up today's show when we come back here on the only locally owned sports station in South Florida, OnsideRadio.com.
The Man of the Match with South Florida's own Alex Donno. Weekdays 1 to 5 p.m. on the home for Inter Miami football. OnsideRadio.com.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
When you're looking for curtains and blinds to create a space of your own, look no further than Bandalux. Bandalux can tailor your space to your needs. Create the atmosphere and ambiance you desire. We invite you to discover it at Bandalux.com. Explore our new solar control systems, range of sustainable fabrics, and energy-efficient solutions that can improve your well-being and quality of life. Witness Bandalux Beauty. Go to Bandalux.com or follow them on Instagram at Bandalux_official. For a personal experience, A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie and Sunrise is an official Bandalux partner.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now, it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit aceyourretirement.org today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common, preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
You're listening to OnsideRadio.com. Catch up anytime by downloading the MyTuner Radio app. OnsideRadio.com, South Florida's true hometown station. You're listening to this station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com, broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
I wanted to make sure I didn't close out this episode without saying rest in peace to Colt Brennan, and God bless his family and his loved ones. I was shocked about an hour before the show to see that, and to be honest, I didn't really know what he'd been up to for the last several years, but former Hawaii quarterback, and God, this guy was so fun to watch. Colt Brennan, University of Hawaii quarterback, the 2007 season that he had, and the numbers he was putting up and the records that offense was putting up, it was so much fun. Like, the only time I can remember in my life that I would go out of my way to watch the Hawaii Warriors. I think they were still called the Rainbow Warriors at that time. I would go out of my way to watch Hawaii football because that was the greatest show on natural grass. I mean, Colt Brennan, absolute gunslinger in his time at Hawaii, and he passed away today. And I didn't know he was clearly struggling with some demons, and it's awful to hear that because I know people who have been through stuff like this. Everyone, a lot of us have issues. 37 years old. He was a patient at a rehabilitation facility when he was found unconscious a few days ago. He died actually yesterday at Hoag Hospital in Newport, California. So rest in peace, Colt Brennan, and I'm really sorry that he was clearly going through some things, and I hope his family is able to find some peace. Really awful to hear about that. So I wanted to make sure I did. It's always a tough thing to bring up when you have sad news like this, but I wanted to make sure we didn't go 3 hours without talking about it, and I probably should have mentioned it sooner, but it's just awful. And anybody out there who whose life was touched by, maybe knowing him personally or watching him play, I'm sorry, because we lost one today, man. So huge thanks to everyone who listened in today, everyone who texted in, interacted with us on the YouTube live chat. You guys are awesome. Alex Toledo was on with us. He was great. George Richards, Xavier Martinez was with us, and Jakari Givens. If you missed any of those interviews, you can replay all of them, or any of them you want. You can skip some, you can listen to all of them, and a lot of the segments we do, like Terrible Take Tuesday, you can catch those on our podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you download your pods. You can find us. Just search Man of the Match, search my name, Alex Donno, or search Onside Radio, and you will find it. So everyone have a wonderful evening. We will talk to you guys again. And huge thanks to Alex Aguirre back in studio, by the way. Everyone have a great evening. We'll talk to you guys again 3 o'clock till 6 o'clock, and then 6:30 and into the evening for Inter Miami, Montreal CF tomorrow. We'll talk to you guys right here on OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to the flagship station of Inter Miami CF, OnsideRadio.com. Follow us on social media at Onside Radio.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction, your custom home builder, additions and home remodeling. Our lives have changed. We're making our homes more of an oasis. Call the right place. Call the right people. Eric at EJD Construction.